I'll put a spoiler alert in case anyone's not watched it.
Oh yeah, good point.
But it's been like 3 whole days since the last episode. So
I'd say that's fair game.
it is
24 hours is usually the window.
Especially like we said before with Disney, because Disney is just like,
Yeah, the fucking worst. Yeah.
midnight we're going to release this thing, and then at like 1 minute past midnight we're going to release a post with all the information from that episode in it. It's like, great, thank you. When I wake up in the morning, what I want to see is a post for the episode that I clearly haven't been able to watch yet because it's like 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of things where people do watch at midnight. I'm trying to think.
I did stay up till midnight to watch, I think it was Battle of Winterfell for Game of Thrones.
Right.
But yeah, after that I was like, fuck it, I can wait till the next day. It's all good.
I think I might watch an episode or two of Moon. No, was it Moon Knight? It was one of the.
To watch that at midnight.
It was one of the series, and I just happened to be up like late a couple times and just watched it because it was there. Not like I didn't stay up, because I would have been severely disappointed if I like stayed up till midnight to watch the new episode of Moon Knight and was like, great, grand.
I think that show has the almost exact opposite arc to Kenobi. Like, Kenobi started out pretty decent and then just got better and better as it went along. Moon Knight started out really well and then just sort of trailed off.
Just, dropped off.
Yeah, the last couple of episodes were the embodiment of forgettable.
Overall review of Moon Knight. Forgettable. Much like your Doctor Strange review.
Yeah.
Wait, what movie? What? You're always like, what movie? I don't know if I've seen it or not.
Yeah.
When you talk about Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Mereness. Very, very forgettable film.
It was. My brother was saying that he's annoyed because Sam Raimi is like the king of, well, not king of, but is a horror person, and like he was like, oh, if only they'd let him make a horror version, because the snippets that we got, that scene, well, a couple of the scenes that were like, they were the best bits of the movie, like quite gruesome for like a 12A Marvel film. Yeah, if that had been carried through, that would have been quite interesting to see.
I just like Strange flying along on his kind of cloak of corpses. More of that energy, please. That was the best part of the film. It was metal as fuck. The rest of the film was pretty lame.
Did they use
a lot more of that and a lot more of America Chavez?
Did they use a song for that bit? Because it reminded me. I can't remember if I was sitting there thinking, oh, they're using like an actual song, but it's not as cool as the Thor Ragnarok
immigrant song.
Yeah,
what
when they're on the bridge.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because sometimes, and I'll briefly mention, but we'll talk about it later if you have started watching Umbrella Academy season 3 yet.
Nope,
oh, you haven't started. That's all right.
Nah.
I know that all the seasons of Umbrella Academy have quite a lot of music in, and it's all like actual songs. But this season, literally the first like 15 minutes, I was sitting there like, and another song, and another song, and another song. I was kind of like, it feels almost like putting a song, like creating a soundtrack should be a work of art, right?
Yeah.
Picking the right songs and putting them in and making sure that they actually fit and are there for a reason, not just like because it could have just been some background music or no music. But I won't talk about.
I remember back when I was doing reactions on YouTube, Umbrella Academy season 2 was the first season that we were reacting to that I had to edit, and literally the very first goddamn scene, there's a bunch of music playing behind it, and I was like right in at the freaking trying to edit that scene so that we weren't showing too much, so we kept in our reactions, and the song in the background wasn't just headache inducing during the cutting from line to line. It didn't get any easier, but yeah. That part, there's a fight in one of the kind of middling episodes with Kiss playing in the background that meant I had to spend a good 2 hours listening to I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss, which almost made me want to solder my ears closed because That's too much Kiss to listen to.
Right.
Jeez.
We have a first greeting from a viewer.
Ahoy.
I want to say Matia. If I'm not saying that right, I apologise. But hello. We're gonna, I guess now is as good a time as any to jump right in. Hello, Rob. Yes, it's right.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, welcome. Any questions throughout? Just feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will tackle them once we finish our own ramblings. And then, but yeah,
It'll be extensive.
so we'll start with Kenobi because Tig's been very excited.
Fucking love Kenobi. So good.
Oh, my favorite animes. We just got a question. What's our favorite anime? That's a really hard question. But once we've talked Kenobi, we'll go straight into some anime chat.
Yeah, good call. Give us a little bit of time to think.
Yeah, we'll think on that while we discuss Obi-Wan. So I mean, I guess a general whole review of the just. I'm not very good at numbers, but like, what would you out of 10 for the whole series as a whole?
See, that's tricky because it definitely started off a bit weaker than it finished.
Yeah.
I'd say it was a solid overall. I'd call it a solid 8, maybe 8.5.
Yeah. See, I'm a little bit kind of less enthused, and I'm probably just kind of like drop it in at a 7. There was like some moments I really liked, but there wasn't enough. Like, it didn't for me feel like an amazing TV show. There's a lot of stuff in it that I liked, but it didn't, for me, kind of like awesome Star Wars stuff is only just enough, can't save what isn't really an amazing TV show without an amazing plot. So yeah, but I still enjoyed watching it. And
I will say that finale was probably my favourite Star Wars thing since like maybe Empire. Like I properly loved that finale.
See, I was really looking forward to this show because I am a fan of the prequels, and especially episode 3 with like Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting. So kind of like was really looking forward to this because I was like, oh, we're gonna Hayden Christensen's coming back, and I was glad that by the end we actually saw. So my favorite moment, we actually saw Hayden Christensen in the suit. Yeah. So
that was so good
at the end of the awesome fight, and with the voice changing, so it had like you could hear his voice, which was great, and then like with the mask's voice, whoever like edited that, the sound was really, really well done, because that could have been done really badly. Like trying to get those two voices to kind of intertwine and make sense that why his voice goes in like that and comes out like that, and they did it well, and
they did.
I really enjoyed it. That was my favourite moment. Yeah, as soon as the mask broke open.
Yeah.
And Ewan McGregor's performance from that point, like getting all teary, and like that was the best bit of the show.
Agreed. And the way they handled the light, like the mask breaking, everything, and the reaction was great. But the way they handled the lighting in that scene was so subtle, but so brilliant. Like the way, like when he's kind of talking as Anakin, and you can see the blue light on his face, and then when he's like, "You didn't kill Anakin, I did," and the red goes in, like his face. So freaking good. Like you almost don't need to hear what they're saying. You can tell exactly what is passing between them just based on the lighting cues.
Yeah.
If I was to have one small criticism of that finale, it would be this. The fight was fucking top tier. So good. But when Vader does his whole kind of force crush and destroys the floor, Obi-Wan falls into a pit. He walks up, he's staring down at him. Why did he not say, "It's over, Kenobi. Now I have the high ground"?
I was honestly...
It was right there. Come on.
So I was already kind of taking the mick because I'm like, oh, what's with all the rock smashing? Like, he's down. Don't just pile rocks on top of him because he's obviously not going to die. He can also use the Force, and he just will not let the rocks crush him, So that was one of my many silly things throughout the TV show that I was kind of sitting laughing at while I'm watching it. And then, I was just like standing there. And several times throughout the fight, I'm like, look who has the high ground now, motherfucker. Like, that's just one... like, That would have been so funny, but obviously not. But yeah, like I think everyone was waiting for the I had the high ground now kind of moment. But we didn't get it, but you did get the hello there at the end.
We did, and I think it was definitely best saved for that point. Like the hello there and Qui-Gon showing up within like about 5 minutes of each other was almost too much for me to take. Very, very well done. So good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like other kind of episode by episode. Yeah, there's like a lot of silliness for me that's kind of like ruined it. And it's another show, similarly a little bit to Moon Knight, I guess, where I feel like a lot of it didn't need to happen or could have not happened, and it wouldn't affect the flow of the TV show. And it could have almost been like a mini movie or, even a full-length movie, and it would have been kind of a bit nicer maybe. Like, even in this last episode, there was a bit... I can't remember if it was Obi-Wan walked into the room or somebody else walked into the room when they was on the ship, I think, and was like, oh, we should do this. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi was just like, no, we can't do that. And then they moved on, and I was just like, why was that even in the show? It didn't add to the TV show or the script. Nothing happened. We could have not seen that because, like, I don't know. There's like lots of moments.
Pointless exchange.
Yeah, there's lots of moments like that kind of throughout the show where I was kind of thinking, and they're the moments when I'm sitting thinking, you know your Star Wars, and you know that you have all these fans, but you shouldn't rely on the fact that these fans love Star Wars to not create what is a good standalone TV show. Like, I feel like The Mandalorian, you could watch that if you're not a Star Wars fan and really enjoy it. Yeah, really enjoy it. Whereas, like, this, I feel like if you haven't got all that nostalgia from loving Star Wars, then it's kind of like, oh, okay. And they don't have to make a show that has to stand on its own, because it is a spin-off of the thing that we have already. But it would be nice to have it just, be stronger without relying on all the nostalgia. But
I think Kenobi was very much a TV show made for the hardcore fans. This was not general viewing. Like, they weren't trying to appeal to a wide audience. They were trying. I could tell from the first sort of minute or whatever it was of the first episode where they're like, yes, here's all the important clips from the prequels that you need to know for this. I was like, all right, they know exactly what they're doing here. They know exactly who their audience is, and they don't care. They are aiming for that, and they are not going to fucking miss. I have to say, her performance was fantastic, and she was like, I loved her for the whole series. But it did feel like the whole rescuing baby Leia arc could have been concluded in like 2 episodes. They didn't need to keep her around for the whole thing. And it just makes, I'm pretty sure I said this last time as well, but I'm going to restate it now because having watched the whole series, it's so obviously true. They said before they released this that the original cut of Kenobi had to be reshot and re-edited because it was too fucking grim. And it's quite clear they just added in the whole kind of the wholesome found family rescuing the baby arc, and then just tied it through the whole freaking show, because without her it would just be too dark. It would be relentless. It would just be, Obi-Wan being sad and then learning to be a bit less sad, which I would have really liked because I love sort of Logan and that whole sort of sad atmosphere, but I can see why it might have put people off if they'd just made it relentlessly grim the whole time.
Yeah, I think that it would have been nicer to see a bit more character development, because like we had the whole, I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm here, and this is what I'm doing now, and I don't really remember how to, or like I haven't used the Force or like my lightsaber for a long time, and then we're doing this, and I remember the White Jedi, a Jedi, and blah blah blah, and whatever, let's do some good in the universe. But it could have been more if they'd gone like say more Loganish, where it's like very like all about him, and there's some other stuff happening. And also the problem with the Princess Leia first of all, and then also Luke at the end, is that like you're opening this like can of worms where you're creating an actual relationship between these young kids and Obi-Wan, and in the movie, in episode 4 we don't have any of that. Like, Luke is just like,
Yeah.
oh, there's just some old guy called Ben that lives in the... We know of him, he lives in the caves, but, like, no, you'd never get that he's ever met him before in his life. Because that's why when Reva was after him and the uncle and aunt were fighting and Luke ran off and he went up on the cliffs, I was like, oh... my first thought was, like, he has no knowledge of the Jedi or anything weird going on in the universe, and then, but, like, he's gonna remember that when he was a kid he got chased by some person with a red lightsaber, and then I was like, oh, he's up there, maybe he falls and he's gonna hit his head and he won't remember any of it, or, do you know what I mean?
Still a bit of a stretch. Yeah.
But then Obi-Wan goes and, like, meets him at the end, and I know he's just some dude, like, he doesn't know who he is and what he is, but still knows him. But even more so with Leia and
Massively
Obi-Wan.
so with Leia.
They have put in this huge relationship where they've really connected. Like, she's never going to forget that man.
No.
She's never, ever going to forget that guy, you know. He's going to be one of the most important people that she's ever met in her upbringing. And I feel
Doesn't
like
give a shit when he dies.
Yeah, you don't get any of that from watching the movie. So I feel like I understand as a fan that, like, if we want more stuff, we have to, you know, be quite open with the fact that, yes, we know this was a movie that was made in the 70s and there's going to be a bit of give and take, but I feel like you're
This is a point I've stated multiple times in the past sort of month or so, and I want to get it out on the record now. We have to remember, even George Lucas himself, when he made A New Hope, conceived of it as a standalone movie. We cannot be like, oh, but there's one line in A New Hope that means we can't do any of this cool shit. Now we've got a whole universe to explore. Like, okay, obviously it's the first film. We have to give it the credit where it's due. But, like, that's like saying, oh, no, you can't say something in, you know, Thor, Love and Thunder because that contradicts a line that Iron Man said. Like, no, who gives a shit? That film, like, yeah, that film started the series, but they had no idea where the universe was going to go when they made that film. We have to give it a fair pinch of, like, if they were contradicting things from, like, the prequels or the sequels, that's a bigger deal because those films were made within the scope of the great. Even, like, if it was Empire or Jedi, like, those films were made when there was an idea of the greater universe. But things like, you know, Vader's line to Old Man Kenobi when he's like, oh, when I left you, you were the master and I was but the learner. Now I'm the master. And he responded quite possibly one of the worst lines in all of cinema. Only a master of evil, Darth. No. Kenobi, I love you. You're my guy. You're my favorite Jedi of all time. But that shit was corny as hell. Stop it.
I mean, you are talking about Star Wars here, so...
Touche.
This is like...
Concede.
You mentioning Iron Man, I was like, you've just done this... You're in the middle of kind of like a Thorathon.
I am.
And
good shit.
You're gonna do Iron Man after, because I like
Fuck no.
after watching Iron Man 2 and 3 are just absolute trash.
Yep. If we were going to do any kind of, you know, multi-view after we finished the Thorathon, it would probably be Captain America. Just because I feel like all three of those films are pretty. Oh, that actually leads me on to a point I'll bring up in a second. But all three of those films are pretty solid. Whereas Iron Man 1 is still in many people's top 5 all-time MCU films. It's still an absolute banger. But Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 are both absolute dumpster fires. And honestly, I'd probably rather watch, like, Eternals or Captain Marvel again before I watch those two. They were just bad. I wouldn't watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, though, because that film is so bad.
That's Shirley's favourite. I always find people, like, when you see the rankings and people list their top Marvel to their bottom Marvel, and the ones that are the bottom are usually, like your Captain Marvels and stuff, but I'm always
Dark
like,
World.
I would rather sit and watch Captain Marvel. Like, I would 100% sit and watch Captain Marvel 10 times before I sit and watch Iron Man 3.
Yeah, fact.
Because, like, I saw Iron Man 3 in the cinema, and I've never ever wanted to revisit it. Not once. Because it was just, like...
You can see it in the cinema.
It was really bad, wasn't it? Iron Man 2, I was kind of like, I love Sam Rockwell, so I went into it, like, really excited, and then it was just kind of... But it's only, like, you know, semi-naff. Like, it's not, like, absolute terrible, like the third one. I still wouldn't be like, oh, let's watch Iron Man 2.
No.
But Iron Man 1 is, just, not only the start, well, not including Incredible Hulk, which is kind of doesn't count.
If Amand doesn't count it, we don't have to.
So, Iron Man, I remember seeing that at cinema. I loved it. I may have seen it twice. It may have been one of the first films that I ever saw twice. Actually, no, I think Star Trek. Star Trek was the first film I went and saw twice.
Which one?
The
one with Chris Pine?
The first J.J. Abrams one, yeah.
That's understandable. Solid film. It's got Thor in it. Bring everything full circle.
I was like, there's so many Chris's. I was like, when he became Thor, I was like, oh, it's that guy from the beginning of Star Trek. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, he plays Chris Pine's dad. He plays, Kirk's dad in Star Trek. They're like, oh, wow, yeah, that is him. It is him, yes. But yeah, Iron Man, I'd always sit and watch Iron Man. Because it's just a good, without even thinking about any of the other Marvel films, you just sit and watch Iron Man. And it's great. It's just a good movie. Sure. Jeff Bridges is awesome. And
Jeff Bridges is always awesome.
He's so good. We always do. One of my favourite quotes is, it's the way of the world. When he's like... that was a terrible impression. I usually do it much better, but I'm under pressure here. Don't look at me, man. We love it. It's good. Good film.
I'd say Iron Man 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and Captain America 2 are probably the top 3 standalone Marvel film. You can watch those 3 knowing nothing of anything else, and they're just good movies.
Yeah.
They just work, so it's kind of, it's acceptable. But let's bring something else. Yeah. So, Captain America 3, Civil War. For some strange reason, Reddit has decided to dive back into who was right in Civil War, because Reddit has nothing better to do at this time.
Of course.
And so they're asking, what side were you, Cap or Tony? Just saying Cap till the end of the line. But someone made an interesting point. If you think about it, the Sokovia Accords are essentially the Mutant Registration Act, just for people with superpowers. It's like, how can... everyone is always like, oh yeah, the Mutant Registration Act, terrible thing, mustn't happen. Got all the heroes, got to fight against it. So why does Sokovia Accords get so much leeway when it's essentially the exact same thing, just targeting a different group? Just something to ponder on.
Something to ponder on. So we're just discussing. So people are debating again about whether who was right in Captain America 2. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I kind of don't care who's right because it's such a complicated thing that is anyone right? And it's more for me. Oh, I don't even know. It's just. I feel so upset because all of this leads to, Infinity War where none of them are speaking to each other.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it have been so much better? They would have just they would have beat Thanos straight away if they was all together and all working together.
Would they though?
Would they? I don't know. I just...
I'm less sure.
You're less sure. But it still upsets me that they're heroes and they're all broken away, but none of them are really facing any consequences for... I don't know. They're the Avengers, but really they're all caught up in their own shit and no one's actually really that into being an Avenger. Then it's not really part of who... They're like, oh yeah, I'm an Avenger, but they're not really that bothered about being an Avenger. It's just
they've all got their own shit going on. They're far too busy solving their own problems to solve the world's.
But yeah, I don't know if it's... So, Hunter JK9 has said, weren't the Accords a way to regulate and not just register? Because it's got... I'm going to talk about Heroes again now. Towards the end of Heroes, they go in the future and everyone has to be, registered, don't they? If they have if they have a power. And that's, a big... same as, X-Men. It's, a big no-no. Because you're targeting people out and...
That never ends well.
It never ends well.
There's not been a time in history where it's ended well. Yeah, the core of I think the big problem with that film and why it's such a grey area is the core of the Sokovia Accords is a good idea. It's making sure that superheroes are held accountable for their superhero bullshit. Look at Avengers, great film, but by the end of that big climactic battle, New York is fucked.
Yes.
Proper fucked. who cleans that up? Who pays for all that? Who is responsible for that? That's fine. Making sure that that is all working, that should happen. That needs to happen. Probably by this point has happened. But suddenly when you're telling heroes where they can go and who they can save, and like forcing heroes to like, you know, give up their secret identities, that's when shit starts to get dangerous. Because I mean, like, does Hawkeye have to sign up? He's just a dude that's really accurate. What if suddenly, like, I'm trying to think of a suitable villain, but someone out of his pay grade, which is basically everyone with any kind of power, wants to like attack him or his freaking wife and kids. Like they all that like he has to say who he is and where he lives. That means any villain can just track him down and fuck his shit up. Pardon my language. It's like there's so many ways it can be abused, and also it then sets a precedent. Like, all right, yeah, so like, what if, you know, where do you go from that? What about when mutants arrive, or in humans, or what's going on, you know, right now in Miss Marvel? Like, whatever her, like, she's. Oh, I mean, are we discussing Miss Marvel?
I've still not started it, so I was gonna wait for it to finish, and then
I will not say a word.
Do a series review.
But there are things that are transpiring in Miss Marvel that would be 1,000 times worse if people with powers had to register who they are.
Yeah,
so I think it sets a very bad precedent.
It's difficult. It's kind of like, I mean, like when we talk about My Hero Academia and Vigilantes, like where's the line? You know, you need to in that you need to register to be a hero, and it's kind of like, okay, so I assume that nobody else is allowed to use their powers, even if it's helpful. Like, you work in construction, can you use your powers to help? Like, if you can like lift things heavy, or is like no one allowed to use their powers? And there's who's the character? La Brava and the Gentle. I just want to say Gentleman, but that's not his name.
Isn't it just Gentle?
Is it just Gentle? Yeah. He tried to help someone and they got like more hurt. Yeah. And it, you know, you end up getting sued, which happens in like loads of superhero stuff. And it's like this. Okay, so yeah, New York would have been totally overrun by aliens if they didn't step in, you know. But someone's always gonna gripe and be like, oh, you know, you destroyed our city. Well, you would have been dead if we didn't step in at all, but I don't know. And then it's the whole thing, you're regulated by the government. And it's like, what's the government's agenda? You know,
exactly.
If the government's in charge of the Avengers, they could be sent off to do anything, and they're really just soldiers instead of being superheroes. Sorry. Yeah.
And considering we're only one film out from freaking Winter Soldier, where it turned out 3/4 of the government were fucking corrupt. They were Hydra. So you want to hand the keys of the Avengers over to freaking Hydra? They've done that in the comics. It didn't end well.
Turns out the government's all bad guys.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, bad guys, good guys. Like with the X-Men argument, you know, Magneto's just trying to do what he thinks is right for the world, and then everybody else doing what they think's right for the world. Who's to say? Who's to say? Indeed.
It's a very tricky situation.
But yeah, so basically, you know, it was whether the heroes wanted to be put under the control of the government, and like,
just seems too risky to me.
It's tricky. It's tricky because, I mean, Thor's a god. Yeah. Why should he, like, he doesn't exist within this human constraint.
And I know in the comics he has diplomatic immunity.
Right.
Maybe they could do the same thing for him in the films if that's ever an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say. And like I say, a lot of them are just humans. Black Widow's just human. Yeah. Hawkeye. Like, then you're just stopping them from being vigilantes, I guess. But yeah.
Oy.
That was a tangent. How did we get onto that? I mentioned Thor. Then we got onto Iron Man. Where did we come from?
Where did we go?
Where did we come from? Where did we go?
No,
honestly, yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
Somehow it started as Kenobi. I don't know how we got
we was on Kenobi
to this.
Welcome to Tangential. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, before we get distracted again, I just want to say I think it's quite clear now that Kenobi is the strongest of the Old Republic era Jedi. Like, who could actually stand up to him?
Uh,
The only people that would even come close are Mace and Yoda. Everyone else can get fucked.
I think if Leia had completed her training, I think Leia would have been so cool.
If we go by the actually, I had this exact same conversation because my friend she marathoned all of Kenobi yesterday and wasn't a huge fan, but her big takeaway was why did they even bother with Luke when Leia's such a badass?
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're going by the extended universe canon, which they sort of are, they're towing the line and doing their own little derivations as they see fit. She's got like massively increased insight. Like she can read people really well. But when it comes to actual force power, she's fairly middling, whereas Luke is like the strongest Jedi there's ever been. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, like I think it's like in the sequels, it's kind of put upon that she has a really strong sense of the Force, but yeah, doesn't use it until she Mary Poppins back to the ship.
I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about that scene. Like, I can see what they were trying to do, and it is quite cool, but it did dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, honestly, not the worst part of that movie. Like,
no, not even close.
By far not the worst part of that movie. So we'll forgive it.
Yeah. I mean, I can forgive Carrie Fisher quite a lot. I'm not really sure if there's anything I wouldn't be able to forgive Carrie Fisher for doing, because she's awesome.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Let's give an honorary mention to the film Drop Dead Fred.
Oh,
so good.
What a film.
She's so good in it. She's like, have I got him?
I need to see that film again.
Oh, it's so good. What a classic. Rick Mal. You know, right?
That's not Jennifer Connelly, is it? Who's the lead in that?
A lady whose name I do not know, but it's not Jennifer Connelly. I don't think I've seen her in like anything else. But yeah, similar look, very dark hair. Yeah. Yeah, I can't think if I've even watched her in anything else at all.
She nailed it in that. So
she was really good. Yeah, I love Rick Mal. I was watching. We were watching some clips of Bottom the other week with me and my mate, and because we went to see My Chemical Romance, and I've been saying for years that Gerard Way reminds me of Rick Mal. He has the same look. And after being at this show and he was like talking like crazy, he was saying like the weirdest shit, and just like my mate's coming up with like conspiracy theories about everything. Yep, I've got an official MCI hat from the show. It was extortionately priced. But yeah, he was coming out with all this random shit, and everybody's now on the internet like putting TikToks, I guess, like of like clips of Rick Mal and then of Gerard Way, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Like they look, and even now, like he's getting to look more and more like him. Like, but the way he speaks and his mannerisms is just like crazy. But yeah, we're big Rick Mal fans. But Drop Dead Fred, Carrie Fisher.
Still one of the many things the Harry Potter films did so terribly wrong. They had Rick Mayall cast as Peeves.
Yeah.
Recorded the footage, and then never used it.
And not only did they cut it, and my friend Jack, who's on the chat now, he mentions this every time we talk about Rick Mal. He's like, not only did they cut it, but they've never released it on any special footage, YouTube, anywhere. They have not released it. And it's kind of like, come on, like if you're gonna hire him, get him to film it, at least put it in the deleted scenes. But like, did they? I
was really hoping they'd at least show it in the anniversary thing they did. New Year's. Like they had the whole big thing showing like audition tapes and shit. That would have been the perfect time to play it.
It's not only that, but obviously like since he passed, like you think people would have been really wanting to see stuff like that. We're never getting anything new, do you know what I mean? So it's like you think you'd want to dig up everything you have of him, and still just doesn't exist.
The only tiny reason I can think why they wouldn't have released any of it is because just none of it was safe to air. It was like, oh yeah, Rick Mayall as Peeves, that's perfect. And he just like went full bottom on it. And they're like, no, Rick, this is a film for kids. We can't use any of that. We know he's a bit of a dickhead, but you can't call Harry Potter a wanker. I'm sorry. Just rein it in.
Just rein it in.
Throw a water balloon or something.
No. You can't calm his genius. You can't.
No.
But yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah, Leia. We like Leia's lightsaber though that got introduced in episode 9.
Yeah.
It's shiny. It's like coppery and like rose gold. It's nice. It's a nice lightsaber. We're going to Disney World in September.
Oh, nice.
It's been 3 years coming, so we booked it like 3 years ago, and my friend's just like trying to approximate how many lightsabers he can get into his suitcase, like the proper ones. But it's like I think it's like $250 to go in and build your own. Which we're gonna do. Yeah, it's totally worth it. But yeah, and then obviously they sell all the other ones as well. You get to pick your crystal, and you can get blind bags if you want to buy extra crystals, and it is like you put the color crystal in your lightsaber and it lights up that color. So that's pretty cool.
So cool.
But every I think there's like a 1 in 10 chance or something when you get a red crystal that it will be black. It's like a special. The black crystal lights up red the same, but you know you can be like, yeah, well I've got a black crystal and it's like super rare, but I don't know. Yeah.
So I just want to buy like 10 just to make sure.
Yeah, you would, and then just because
we
there's
all
a
know
1
you
in
end up
10
using the
chance.
purple one anyway.
Well, I was gonna get yellow or orange, but I think do they do yellow and orange? No, just yellow. But I've always pictured myself with an orange lightsaber, like a nice, cool yellow orangey lightsaber. And then yellow kind of became more of a thing, and obviously Rey has a yellow saber now, and it's kind of like like finally I can be close. But I also kind of pictured myself with like 2 short-ish sabers that I can hold this way, or I can hold them like coming back this way. Because the long ones, I'm like, I'm gonna cut off a limb. I'm clumsy. It will happen. Like, we've got the full size like the proper lightsabers from episode 1, 2, and 3. I think we have most of them, but they're massive. Like they're huge.
Yeah.
Yoda's is like the perfect size for me. Honest. I love it. It's great. I'm like, this is my size lightsaber. Jack said that the blind bags are colour specific, so you can get a green blind bag. It's always green, but it might have the ghost of a Jedi in it. Ooh.
That's freaking awesome. Does it say which Jedi, or is it just this one's got a ghost?
It's just a ghost. It's not a...
It's just a haunted crystal.
It's just a haunted crystal. The ghost of a Jedi in it. I guess you'd collect them all. And then Hunter says... 10 lightsabers. Who do you think you are, General Grievous?
Yeah, sad Grievous noises when he realised he died like 2 days before Order 66. There would have been so many lightsabers for him to steal.
Just going around picking them all up.
But he ran afoul of my boy Kenobi, who ended him with a pistol. I'm also very sad that we got through the entire show and he used the pistol quite a lot and didn't mention at all how uncivilized they are. Sad times.
I did like when he gave Leia the holster, and she was like, "It's empty." He's like, "I'm not going to give you a blaster," and I feel like everyone's because you know.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good line.
Yeah,
I think.
Go on. Was you going?
In the Old Republic, the MMO, I've got a really nice. It's like red on the edges, but black in the core.
Right.
That's really cool. And I've got another one that's white on the edges with a black core that looks really fucking cool. My Sith Shadow tank. No, it's not Shadow. What's he called? Assassin tank has that. Looks badass.
Any other favorite bits from the Kenobi show?
Oh, the big rock shower thing that Kenobi did. That was sick. I love that. Seeing Flea, always good. All
I saw when he did that, he pulled them all up and then he like shot them at Darth Vader, and I just pictured one of them hitting him in the back of the head. Like, because they was like all around him, and then he just went forward like this, and I just pictured like donk, like still not got the hang of this, you know.
That would have been hilarious, yeah.
Oh, and obviously we have Force Ghost Imperial at the end for our 3-second cameo of Qui-Gon, but I don't know. His hair looked longer. Apparently, Force Ghost's hairs, still grow.
Good to know. I kind of imagine Force Ghosts aren't just spirits that pop. Like they have their own whole little Force world where they just go about their day and they're like, "Oh shit, I'm meant to be seeing Kenobi. Fuck, where's my robe? I want to put my robe back on. I got to look how he did when he saw me."
It's like, I've left him alone.
Hastily shaved beard.
he's been trying to speak to me for years, but I've just left him be because, he needs to figure shit out on his own. And then at the end, he's just like, going off on a little adventure on a space camel, are we? I'll join you now. Like...
Here's the big question, though.
Yeah.
To season 2 or not season 2?
I think they have to now, don't they?
Listen, I'm kind of torn because I really want a season 2 because I fucking love that show. But I'm not really sure we need one. Like, what could they actually do in Kenobi season 2?
I think people just want to see Kenobi kill Darth Maul, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is the obvious choice. But, I mean, it's like, yeah, we could do kind of Siege of Mandalore, kind of bring Satine in live action to have a bit of a romance arc. Cuts Luke and Leia out completely, just really, like, laser focus on Kenobi. Loads of Maul, flashbacks to all their nonsense. Satine, Maul kills Satine. Kenobi kills Maul. Yay. The problem with that is, do we really need that when we've got that exact arc in Clone Wars and Rebels? If you want to see that, watch Clone Wars and Rebels. They're fucking great. There's loads of good content there. So why do we need to see that in Kenobi season 2?
I think to please people that won't watch cartoons.
Fuck them. They're lost.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it will happen. I think this has been successful enough that the actors want to stay on board. And
well, I know Reva's getting a spin-off, which could be interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like I enjoyed her the entire way through, and then this last episode was a bit... I don't know. Yeah. I feel these last 2 episodes very rushed her. Oh, she's, actually a hard done by youngling, and it's Darth Vader she wants. And instead of killing Darth Vader whilst he's holding the ship up and he's busy, she waits for him to drop the ship, like for the ship to get away and go, oh, okay. And then attacks him by making a big noise as well. Doesn't even creep up on the dude. I was just kind of like, oh. And then
I'm pretty sure you can't creep up on Vader, though.
And then, no, you shouldn't be able to, but he's distracted by Kenobi. And then they stab her through the chest with a lightsaber. So unless they've hit any vitals, she's not going to bleed out and die. And because, cauterizes as it goes in. And then they just leave her there. They pull her Skeletor again. Just leave her on the floor. Well, she's not going to come back and bite us in the ass, is she? Probably not, I don't know.
But it does make me laugh. Everyone was complaining, like, oh, how the hell did Reva survive that being impaled? Like, the Grand Inquisitor is literally standing right next to her. He survived the exact same wound 2 episodes ago. Yeah. That's how she does it. Like, don't complain about it. You're just complaining for complaint's sake at this point. Like, there are many things to complain about in that show. That was not one of them. But yeah, seeing Vader just fucking drag that ship down and rip it apart. Cold as hell, man. He's so badass. And then, like, she was really trying to hit him and he was like, nope, blocked it. Sorry. Fuck you.
Yeah, no. She had no chance there. I was like... Yeah, I mean, I like all the story and I like...
yeah.
But yeah, I just feel it was slightly, like, rushed towards the end. And then, what was the... I feel like I missed something. I want to say Puck, or the little hologram thing. And that's... like, Leia's dad.
Yeah.
Did he say he knows where the boy is?
Something like that, yeah.
As in, like, Vader knows where the boy is. Or yeah, because only after watching the episode, I was like, oh no, now Reva's gonna go and find Luke. I sat there and I was thinking, wait, did it say he knows where the boy is? Because then I'm like, why would he never go after, or nothing happens? I wasn't sure.
I think he was saying, like, if X knows the kid's there, then Y must know.
Right. Okay.
But I don't think he was sure that anyone knew. He was just assuming. But I think he was saying that based on thinking that Reva was kind of towing the line and was a good Inquisitor, whereas actually she wasn't. Because the whole reason she was there was just to get behind Vader and fuck him up.
Haboo. Just like...
Well, that did lead to one of the best lines possibly in the series when Kenobi's giving himself up and he's kneeling on the floor and he's just waiting his doom, and she's there. He's like, "Oh, you're bringing," and Kenobi's like, he says, "You're not bringing me to him. I'm bringing him to you." That's a great line.
Yeah.
Well played, Kenobi.
He was on it. I did I talk about before? I don't know if it was after that episode. They're having like the whispery conversation through the door. It's like, well, I hope none of these stormtroopers that are standing right next to us hear what we're saying. Like, yeah. I just, this is all I was doing the whole time I was watching this show was like making funny dialogue, like of my own. Like
MST3K.
Did she just say she's gonna kill Vader? Like, like, just what's going on here? No one cares with it. They're not paid enough to like care about all this stuff that's going on.
Stormtrooper is the weakest shit in existence.
Hunter's just saying that they was using the Force Whisper technique. Yeah, it's a special Jedi thing.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. Oh, that's the other thing that we can talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
I was thinking there's another big thing on the agenda, and I couldn't think of what it was.
That and The Boys. Have you seen The Boys?
Right, okay. I haven't watched it yet. It snuck up on me. I watched the last season. This season, I didn't realise it was coming out, and then I started seeing stuff all over the internet. But they're releasing like episodes by episodes, not all of it at once.
I think they dropped 2 to start, and then what was that, Kenobi? I can't remember now.
Kenobi had 2 to start.
Yeah, I think they're just doing 1 a week.
So they're not finished.
Because Amazon usually do 3 and then 1.
Yeah, I think with stuff like The Boys, I generally like wait for it to finish and then just like blaze through it all. But
That's fair.
But yes, I haven't watched it yet, but I did watch the second series and I will be watching it.
Great.
But yeah, Stranger Things, because like people have had plenty of time to watch the part 1 now. I didn't realise that part 2, I was expecting like a whole big part 2, but it's actually just like 2 or 3 parts, and they're each like an hour and 40. I think it's a 2-part. One's like an hour and 40 minutes, and then the second one's like 2 hours and whatever.
So it's 4 episodes. They've just smushed them into 2.
Essentially, yeah, they've just like smushed it all together into 2 big movies.
And that's dropping on the 4th, yeah.
2nd of July, I think. What's the date today? 25th.
I have no idea. What is time?
Who
are we?
What even is time? Where are we? What are we doing? Yeah, I think it's the 2nd, which is next Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday.
I think that should be good. Okay. But I didn't realise it was that few episodes. I thought it was going to be like another, at least sort of 4 or 5 episodes. That's kind of sad. Oh well. Yeah, first part. What a show, man. Like, I think we covered this last time, but just for the people that weren't here. Really liked season 1. Great season. Season 2, very forgettable. Season 3, terrible. When I got to that finale, I was like, great, the show's freaking over. It's done. I can just forget these fucking characters. And season 4 dropped, and what the fuck, man? Where were these writers last season? Season 4 has been phenomenal.
Yep.
Unbelievably good. Little bit predictable, but still very good.
I could talk about this predictability now because you've watched it all. So I was at the point where, from episode 1, I'm like, oh, this bad guy, whatever's happening, is very much like Nightmare on Elm Street. This is totally Freddy Krueger because it's like getting them in their dreams, right? And then episode 3 or whatever it was, when we meet the dad of the family from the house, and we're going to the jail cell, and I look and I'm like, I think that's Robert Englund. I was like, that looks a lot like him. I was like, looks surprisingly young. And that's the only thing that's confusing my brain. I was like, I'm sure that's him, but he doesn't look as old as my brain thinks he should be. Like, because I feel like in my head, these people have been 60, were like 60 in the 80s. Or like 40 in the 80s, and should be like 80 now, and aren't. They're like 60. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess he was like quite young when he played Freddy Krueger. But
didn't tell him all the makeup.
Anyway, so like I was like thinking, oh, this is very Freddy Krueger, and then boom, there he is. So yeah, I was like, great, yeah, really, really well done.
They were walking down the corridor from Silence of the Lambs to go and interview Freddy Krueger. It was just so much horror nostalgia in one scene. It was so good.
But yeah, I liked, from episode 1 I was like, this is gruesome. This is really, like, I have a friend at work who's very horror, he loves all the horror flicks, like old 80s and stuff. And I was like, oh, have you watched Stranger Things? He said, no, I've not seen that. I said, well, season 1 to 3, you know, you can watch them and get through them. You probably won't, like, really, really like them. But season 4, oh my days, you'll love it. Because it is, like, really gruesome. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And, yeah, so really enjoying the storyline, all of that. Loving all the kids, the music. My sister got in my car the other day and she was like, oh, Kate Bush didn't get number 1. She got beat by Harry Styles. And I was like, whoa. Don't be angry about that. Harry Styles is a current artist. Like, he deserves his number 1. He doesn't deserve to get beat by an artist from the 80s just because they used her song in a TV show. Is it an amazing song? Yes. Is Kate Bush cool? Yes. But she's had her time, and that song's existed for that whole period of time. It could have been number 1 again at any time, but suddenly everybody knows the song because it's in a TV show. Let Styles have his number 1, and she was like, oh, yeah, I guess you got a point there.
Like, as much as I may dislike his style, of, like, his music isn't really my thing, a current generation artist should never be beaten by a meme.
Yeah.
That simple. Like, it's a good song, sure, but the only reason anyone gives a fuck about it is because it's in the show. That is not, like, legitimate musical praise for music's reason.
Yeah.
So I think someone that actually is releasing current music that they genuinely care for should always beat out an internet reference.
Yes.
And I say this knowing full well, 90% of my daily discourse is memes and internet references. All right. So yeah, you're in Vecna's realm. You're trapped moments away from turning into a human pretzel. You have one song to listen to save you. What do you play? So 2 songs.
Okay.
One era appropriate for the 80s.
Okay.
And one all-time greatest banger.
See, I was gonna say I probably have to have one of my major feel-good songs, which is I like Mr. Blue Sky by ELO, which might be age appropriate, like time appropriate 80s, I think.
Can't remember.
And my other one is You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates. That also might be that kind of time.
That one definitely sounds.
Let me have a look on Spotify and see what year. ELO is 1970s, Jack reckons. What are yours when I think about this in case I need a new... I'll think of a current one whilst you do yours.
For era appropriate, absolutely. Stan Bush, The Touch. From Transformers the movie. Absolute banger. I'll be sitting there, oh no, I'm nearly dead. And that fucking opening starts, you got the touch. I'm like, yes! Just jump up, smack Vecna in the face. I am Tigamus Prime, you cannot defeat me. Vanquish him right on the spot. Undefeated. Absolute tune. For current day, it gets a bit trickier. Because most of the music I listen to is kind of instrumental, kind of strings based, called quite calm. It's not really, like, you can't really get hyped up listening to Lindsay Sterling. That's a bit tricky. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something like Slipknot related, or like Offspring, something just like something
Offspring.
really fast opening guitar riff.
Yeah, go for some Offspring. So You Make My Dreams Come True is 1980.
Yeah, that's close enough.
But they're just like 2 of my all-time kind of favorite songs. But I guess current, probably gonna have to be a Linkin Park song because they're my all-time faves. And funnily enough, Place for My Head was always one of my favorites, and that's kind of apt if I'm like in my dream world. Faint
would be a good one.
Yeah, it would be.
Faint would that would definitely drag me out of Hell's realms.
But I guess you should really pick something maybe a little bit more upbeat to drag you out of.
Yeah.
Just put like the Muppets theme tune on.
That would
It's like
definitely
really
work.
random and funny. Yeah, no, I liked that. Talking of that scene though, with Max.
Best character.
Oh, she's so good. What an actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does a great job. You know when they like introduce a new character in season 2
I think so, yeah.
or 3, whenever she got introduced, and you're like, oh, they're trying to put another friend in the group. How's this going to play out? But yeah, she's great. And yeah, go on.
I genuinely prefer all the new additions over the original cast. Like I would keep Dustin, obviously. Dustin's a fucking legend.
He's
keep
great.
Steve, obviously. Those two can stay. But then she's not called Maya. That's her real name. What's she called?
Nancy?
No, the other one. Uma Thurman.
Oh,
Robin.
Robin, yes.
Robin, great. Max, great. And then from this season, freaking D&D guy whose name I'm blanking on. I want to say Charlie, but that's the guy from the show I was watching
I'd say his
yesterday.
name's Bill.
Nah. Come on, chat. One of you must know.
Yeah, what's his name? I really like him.
The new D&D guy, he's great.
I just read today, I don't know how true this is because it's just something that was popped up on my feed, that they filmed the cheerleaders, whose name I don't know, the cheerleaders' death scene with him like way before they filmed their little forest interaction where she's like asking him for drugs.
Really?
And they didn't realise like how great a chemistry they was going to have. And were like, shit, we should not have killed her.
That's vaguely hilarious.
Because I think it's a great storyline, just having the fact that she's like this, you know, cheerleader and she's popular and whatever, but she clearly like really like digs this super nerdy guy, and you're like, oh, they're just so natural. They're like totally hitting it off. Like, screw that high school, you know, groups and whatever.
That's such a kind of 80s high school film plot line. Like, oh, the head cheerleader's fallen in love with the like the D&D burnouts. Like, I mean, yeah, that's basically Grease or parts of Breakfast Club. Like, it's such a recurring storyline in that whole era. It would have been the perfect plot for a show like Stranger Things, which is basically just an amalgam of 80s cliche.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame they didn't, but at the same time, it does kind of lend that scene a little poignancy, because it's like, oh, what could have been?
Yeah, and it's kind of like really, just really feel for him. I really like him. He's a great character. So moving on. Yeah, so Max's scene, they're at the graveyard. She starts floating, and then, but inside her head, Vecna's realm is so good. All the floating pieces.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of really bad effects in some TV shows I've seen lately. And then you watch Umbrella Academy, for instance. I feel like they've crammed so much in that their budget for the CG has kind of been stretched thin. And it's like, you know, I don't mind a little bit, but like when it's just too much, whereas like Stranger Things obviously has an insane budget. And it all just looks great.
Really?
It looks great.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know, you've got the physical effects. That's actually the actor in costume, which is great.
I couldn't believe that was actually, like, that poor bastard. It must take 8 days to get ready. That's some serious freaking special effects there.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's nice to see.
Great. He looks badass.
Badass. But, yeah, and then obviously she kind of breaks through. It's nice to see, like, the others, I was saying that all the other victims seem to just kind of be there and kind of letting it happen almost. Obviously, they're all people that are going through like traumatic experiences and that, and they don't necessarily maybe have something to fight for. Whereas like Max has just kind of made her peace with her brother, because she's kind of blamed herself for his death and everything, and she's just made peace at the grave, and she has her friends there like fighting for her. So she's inside the realm, and she is like not letting that dude take her. She is like fighting back, because he's even got her like right by the face, and yet somehow doesn't have the power to kill her. she breaks free, and then I was so...
Much like every shonen protagonist, she summons the power of friendship and
I
keeps
was-
herself safe.
I was a total mess though, because I was like, if he kills her with a fucking rock, I'm gonna be so angry. Like, because I was like so on it like this, and I was like, go on, Max, come on. It was like, it's
When
nice.
she was running out, man, that was the tensest that show has ever made
Yeah,
me.
it was.
my
I was
God.
just. Who's the number? But yeah, that bit, and then. Oh, my brother's just said that that's the best part of the show and the ending. So
Agreed.
yeah, the storyline, although it did become, it was predictable. We sussed everything that was going to happen, but it wasn't like predictable and not enjoyable to watch. It was great. I loved the journey.
It's very well executed.
Yeah. It was like, well, the guy in the, who becomes number one. You're like, that guy's shifty.
Yeah,
he's not just
look at
helping
his
her.
face. He's obviously dodged.
And also, like, from straight away, I was like, oh, it's that guy from Twilight. He plays one of the, like, evil vampires in, like, the third one or something. I was like, yeah, the guy's from Twilight. And I was like, oh, he's kind of an actor. This isn't just, like, a little bit part. He's going to be more important, like, surely. And I was like, oh, he's not just shifty. I think he's number one. And it's like, yeah, okay. And then the other bit... Oh, but I didn't actually... And I try not to think too hard because I like to be surprised. I try to not look ahead too much. That it was the son.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dad thinks the son is dead. So when you're getting his story, he's telling the truth because he does think the son was dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've obviously gone into the hospital afterwards and got him. My brother's just said that it's the spiders that gave this away to him. Because it's like, why are the spiders? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying closer attention, but I was... but, yeah, it came together really great.
At
one point, I was getting a little frustrated. I felt like we were spending too much time with 11 in the... a
little bit,
Did you feel that as well? Yeah, I felt a little bit long, like, oh, come on, get to the point. Let's get there already, but...
I feel kind of bad because it is ostensibly her show, but she is like the two least interesting characters in the whole show are her and Will.
Will for sure.
They're the core characters, and they bring very little.
But
all we really need from her is everyone else referencing that they used to know a superhero who handled this. Like that was the best parts of her story were other people referencing her, not her actually doing stuff.
Yeah, I like Will. I really love Will, and I feel like he's been given the raw end of the stick, like the entire 4 series of the show. He's just got the raw deal, and he's been treated really badly, and he deserves the time to shine. I want him to be happy. I said this before, didn't I?
The raw end of Mike's
I knew he was going to say that. I just said that.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I want him to be happy, but I don't really like Mike. So Mike can do one, and Will can find somebody else to love. Yeah, okay. I just want Will to be happy, and Elle. Yeah, again, probably your least favorite character in the. They're all great, but as a whole, but
the only reason I want good things to happen to her is because I don't want Hopper to be sad because I love Hopper.
At the same time, though, I was getting so majorly bored of Russia. I was like, can you get me back to the kids, please? Like, I'm like, yes, you're going to fight a Demogorgon. And, I'm sure you're not going to die because they're clearly not going to kill you and you're going to get back to the kids and it's all going to be a big adventure. So there's no suspense and I'm just kind of like, can we get this over and done with? Because we haven't seen Will and Mike and that since 2 episodes ago and they're on their way to find Elle. But, we've got to wrap up the whole Elle figuring out what happened and that she's not a murderer and she's actually, because she was worried that she'd killed all these people and she's getting her powers back and it's all happening. But I was just getting like tired of it all and I just wanted everybody to come together, which is what the trailer for the for the next part looks like. Everyone coming together and it's all...
I've skipped all the trailers. I'm not watching them.
I didn't choose to. It just played it at the end of...
Really?
It played like next, on Netflix. It just like started playing it, and I was like, But
that's a dick move from Netflix's part.
What a dick move, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I hate that. Like with Obi-Wan Kenobi, you get like a trailer for the next episode, and it's like, do we?
Oh, yeah, no, I skipped all that.
Like, I can wait. I can wait 1 week. Honestly, like you don't have to give me a trailer for an episode of TV. Like because trailers for movies are already too much.
Yeah.
Like with Thor coming out, and the trailer, it's like,
I've not watched any of them.
It's gonna be that's all the funny. That's all the majority of the funniest bits, and then you're gonna go into the movie, and it's not gonna hit you fresh, and you're just gonna be like, oh, it was that joke they made in the trailer. You know?
Although, yeah, I'm a little bit worried that we're getting the Gore saga, and there's way too much humor. Like it's been described as like a rom-com detective movie. None of those words should be applied to the Gore saga.
Yeah, I am a little bit,
right.
and obviously taking an actor like Christian Bale and putting him into this film. Like Taika was like, oh, I sort of watched an interview and he was like, they was like, oh yeah, what about Christian Bale? And he was like, oh yeah, he's great, he's the best actor of all time, kind of thing, because he's like considered one of the greatest of all time, I guess, and I know he played Batman, but that Batman series was quite serious and not overly comic booky as such.
No.
And now there was all stuff on the internet going like, oh, Christian Bale doesn't know what the MCU is. Like he didn't realise he joined it. And I was like, do they mean the abbreviation? He's just never heard MCU before, or he's not watched a single Marvel film? Because that could be true. He probably hasn't, or like, and who cares? At this point, I'm like, it's fine. He's a great actor. Hopefully he's going to do this part well. But how is all that comedy and this like crazy, like Taika's style going to fit around like a really serious character? We're going to go from like silliness to like hardcore battle that like really drags Thor back down to earth. I don't know.
I'm very worried. I've got to say, like, I obviously just finished watching it for the Thorathon, but like, for all the hate it gets, I think Dark World gets the balance of comedy and drama pretty much perfect. Like, it starts off quite light and funny, then as the film goes on, the stakes get higher and the tone gets lower. And that's kind of what I'm really hoping. I watched the initial teaser trailer and haven't watched anything since for Love and Thunder. I'm really hoping that all the clips we've had so far are all for like the first act.
Yeah.
And that it'll get a bit more serious as it goes on. But based on Ragnarok, I'm not hopeful. Although I will say, credit where it's due, like I fucking love Taika Waititi. He's made some amazing movies, and he does usually get the balance of comedy and drama spot on. Like Hunt for the Wilder People, freaking Jojo Rabbit. Like there's some really funny scenes, and there's some gut-wrenchingly sad scenes. So I'm hoping now that he's writing as well as directing, he might bring that to the screen. But I'm worried because I don't think he has. Because I don't think Marvel would let him.
No one will let him. Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to being wrong, though.
Yeah, you're going to be wrong. It's going to be like all that silly shit out of the way at the beginning and then like drag him into the real world. And then you broke down the trailer, didn't you? With the big beast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that'll happen and they'll be like, oh, fuck. Like there's some dude. This is real bad news and shit will get real.
I hope so, man.
But, yeah. But, are we done with Stranger Things? Trying to think if there was any. You're never done. Friends
Becca
don't
will
lie.
always drag you back in. But I've got to say, I cheered a little bit too much for a scene that was essentially GBH against a minor. But when 11 just whacks that chick in the face with the roller skate, I was like, fuck yeah, get it.
Because, yeah, like, oh my god, they were like hardcore bullying, like the whole school all ganged up on her. It was like a Carrie moment at the prom. With the fucking roller disco. Yeah, I was so not for that. We hate bullies. Like, we do. With a passion. My brother, everything we're like, fucking hate those. Like, just... And that no one's, like, doing anything. All the teachers, the adults, come on, where's all the adults? They're just like, this is all just happening. And then they're like, oh, you're in trouble because you hit this girl with a skate. It's like, can we just for a moment assess why She hit the girl with the skate because she totally deserved it, the little bitch.
Could have popped her fucking head, but she didn't.
Yeah.
Because she's nice. That's called restraint.
If she had her powers, it would have been a very different story.
It would have.
But, yeah, and Will just, like, constantly chasing after, like, oh, no, kind of, but not intervening, just kind of being there and then giving her long looks from afar, like, oh, no, you shouldn't have done that. But I'm here.
If only someone was there to stop you. Oh, look, literally anything other than stopping you. Let's go do that. He was too busy mooning over Mike. And I'm still 100% convinced when he unrolls that painting he's been carrying around since the start, it's going to be him and Mike on a horse that looks vaguely like 11, flying through space, and they're both topless and ripped.
It's going to be like that D&D, like, front cover.
Yeah.
Him, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
All jokes aside, actually, it could be that. Them, all of the Friends group, as their D&D characters.
That would be nice.
It would, yeah. Like killing a Demogorgon or something.
Because, like I say, even if Will had romantic feelings for Mike, he knows that he's with 11 and he's happy. I don't think that he would impose those feelings upon Mike. So, but he loves him so much as a friend. He's his best friend, and that's what's important. And it's just, I just want Will to be happy. If one thing happens by the end of this series, and I swear to God, I swear to Almighty Thor, if they kill Will, we have problems, Duffer Brothers.
We are.
Right? But at the same time, someone's got to die.
Yeah, 100%.
If this is not the end of the season, like as a whole, which it feels like it should be, but they're going to do another one for some reason.
Yeah.
If it's not the end and they're all just going to triumphantly win and take down Vecna and the Mind Flayer and whatever, then someone's got to die.
Yeah.
I've forgotten. Millie Bobby Brown literally like said on a red carpet interview, she was like, or it said somewhere on the internet, the Duffer Brothers are too scared to kill anyone off. Like they killed off Hopper and they brought him back, and then she's like, let's just kill Elle off. Just like kill someone off. Like honestly, just I don't know. She's probably like, you know what, I'm getting other working now, and unfortunately they locked me into like a 10-season contract just in case. But I could be making big time movies, because she's like the next big star in Hollywood, and she's stuck in this show being fairly non-verbal and not a very
it's not a part you can really sink your teeth into.
Yeah, it's just kind of stuck there. But did you watch Enola Holmes?
I haven't.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I'm not really a huge Sherlock fan. I quite enjoyed the Robert Downey Jr. films, and I liked the first 2 seasons of the Brit Bendy nonsense Crockett Pot series.
If you like the films, I would say that you'd like this. It's about the same level of like action comedy.
Okay.
Helena Bonham Carter.
I do love a bit of Bonham Carter.
Yeah, I mean, and Millie Bobby
Cavill
Brown
as well, isn't it?
Henry Cavill, plays Sherlock. And the guy from Hunger Games, the big guy from Zone 1 in the first one, I don't know his name, but I like him. He's
big blonde guy.
The big blonde guy.
The one that was in Vikings.
Was he in Vikings? See, I've not seen that. He like carries around the old lady. Not in the first one, in the second one when they break out, isn't it?
I've seen them once.
Yeah, he's one of the recurrent. Yeah, anyway, it's that big guy. He plays.
Okay.
Morlock is the wrong word.
Moriarty.
No, he plays the brother, Mycroft.
Oh nice.
Who is Morlock?
That's the underground people from the X-Men, the kind of mole people.
Yeah.
Speaking of, recently watched all of The Gifted. Surprisingly good show. I don't know why it didn't do better.
Is that the one with... No, not The Gifted.
It's the one with Amy Acker and...
James Masters.
Bill. No, Bill from True Blood. Can't remember his name.
Oh. James Masters was in a show called The Runaways. That's completely different.
Yes, that was terrible.
That was terrible, was it? That's a
Well, the
shame.
first season was decent. The second season was passable, but I never actually finished. I got about three-quarters of the way through, and then just didn't care enough to go back and watch the rest. And then a friend of mine said he watched the third season and wishes he hadn't.
I
So
watched it. I wish I hadn't. But
yeah,
but The
I mean
Gifted
that
is
tells you
good.
everything. The Gifted is great because the thing is, they build it as like, oh yeah, because it's Amy Acker from Angel and Bill from True Blood.
Yep.
They're grown-ups. They have kids. Oh no, the kids are mutants. Guess what? Bill's job is running the mutants capture people.
Oh.
Drama. And it was billed as like all about the kids, and then they meet sort of the rebels. Like it's gonna be fucking kid drama and it's gonna be lame. But actually, the kids have maybe a quarter of the screen time. There's a lot of stuff with the rebels who are all quite good actors, and there's a lot of stuff with the parents who are obviously great actors. So like the quality and tone of the show is a lot higher than I thought it would be. Like I was mostly just watching it because I love Amy Acker and I watch anything with her in. But like it's actually a really freaking good show. It's well worth checking. I mean, it's all on Disney Plus. It's well worth checking out if you have it. And Legion, which is fucking spectacular.
Legion. I've got that movie with the angels in it in my head.
No, it's about. They never explicitly state it because rights lol. But Legion is Xavier's kid, and he's like the second most powerful TK on Earth after his dad, but potentially more powerful. But he's got DID, so it's like it's all a bit. It's also the show's super trippy. It's basically he's in an asylum with Aubrey Plaza, and it's utterly insane but brilliant. Super trippy. One of the best Marvel shows for like a visual standpoint.
Cool. We'll have to have a look on,
It's all on
my
D+.
Disney Plus. Did you say D+?
I did.
Oh, it's
I
like a thing
feel
now.
like I feel like if we say their name too many times, they'll start spying on us. So I'm trying not to. Like, it's like Candyman. You can't say it too many times.
If we say anything bad about their show, they'll shut us down.
Yeah. The freaking mouse is everywhere. I've seen South Park. I know what you can do.
I love Disney, but you know they put out some stuff that's just garbage.
They really do.
They put out a lot of really good stuff. I still not got around to seeing Lightyear, but I'm excited. I'm still excited to go see Lightyear, and it seems to have got kind of mixed reviews. Well, mostly all the bad reviews are just like, oh, Pixar's lost its magic touch, and it's like, well, no, this isn't like a Pixar original, like with that heartfelt story. They're making a film from a thing that Disney's probably like, can we make this? Let's get this done. Like, you know, more merchandise. You know, people love Buzz Lightyear, and this is great. They can just shovel this shit in those store, like in the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disneyland Paris, and it's gonna sell, and money, innit? But but it seems to be like an alright movie still.
The people I've spoken to that have gone in to see it with an open mind seem to have enjoyed it. No one I know is like massively raving about it, but no one's particularly ragging on it either. Personally, as I think as we mentioned last time, I'm not the hugest Toy Story fan.
Yes.
So I'll probably at best wait till it's on streaming, if then. But if someone was like tomorrow, do you want to go see Lightyear? I probably wouldn't say no.
Yeah, so I want to see that. I'm going to wait until Jurassic World comes out on stream, probably.
Yeah.
And then... what's the other one? Thinking of like... oh! News just in.
Oh.
Because, I don't know if... I'm a massive Santa Claus fan. And they're making the Santa Claus TV show on Disney Plus for the coming holidays. And like every year, if there's the Christmas movies I have to watch, it's the Santa Claus movies. I don't really care about any others. Oh, the Muppets Christmas Carol is like the best of all time.
Yeah.
But I'll watch that all year round because it's hilarious. yeah.
Did you see Claws on Netflix? I think it was the year before last.
Oh, not like with the K.
No,
Like it starts with a K. Is it not Klaus? You talking about?
possibly.
Yeah, I have not watched it, but it's supposed to be really good, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The one about kind of Santa, and he's a toy maker that lives in this little town, and he kind of hates everyone.
It's like the
And a new guy
origin.
moves in to open a post office and kind of
Yes.
turns it into the North. Yeah, is it called Klaus?
Yeah, I think it's Klaus. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, whatever it's called, see that. Absolute banger.
I've been told to watch it
Really, really good.
because I work for Royal Mail, and they're like, "Oh, it's a Christmas movie, and it's about the origins of Post." And I'm like, "Oh, gee, I must watch it because my that's what my life revolves around."
It's a lot more fun than that makes it sound. It's actually a really solid film, and the kind of the animation and the kind of the visuals of it all are really, really good. I think it's J.K. Simmons as well playing Santa.
Because it looks kind of it's CG, but it looks kind of stop motion-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, like interesting. Jack lent me Going Postal like a year ago. It's still sitting on my shelf. I've not watched it, so he's just brought it up, and I knew he was going to bring it up. If you would watch a film about Post, if only you held on to a film about the Post Service from me for over 4 years. It's not been 4 years,
freaking
Jack.
years.
It's not been 4 years because it's in my
Say.
it's in my flat, and I've only lived here for 2.5 years. So I've not had it for more than 2.5 years.
That's still way too long, though.
It's
like, if you borrow a film and you haven't watched it within a year, just give it back, or watch it and then give it back.
Here's the things, like Jack's belongings are also mine.
No.
He gives me everything he owns at some point. He's someone that like buys things, enjoys them for 6 months to a year, and then passes them on. So I get a lot of hand-me-down stuff from Jack. But no, that's one of the films that he's had and will keep forever, because he's like, oh, it's really, really good. I just never... Oh, it's there. One day, we'll feel like watching it. But there's so much, like, good new stuff that I want to watch that sometimes, watching
We are
that
kind of
film...
being drowned in content right now.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Santa Claus TV show. But, it's funny because everyone's on the internet like, oh, why isn't Tim Allen doing the voice of Buzz? And it's like, because it's not Buzz Lightyear the toy. Personal things aside, he's not like Buzz like Lightyear the toy, is he? He's Buzz Lightyear the person that the toy is based on. So the toy wouldn't have the same voice. And then everyone's complaining that Bernard the elf is not in the Santa Claus photos that have come out for this show, and it's like, he wasn't in the third film, and all these people are old now,
3 Santa Claus films?
There was 3, yeah.
Wow. I think I saw the first one.
Yeah. With Bernard the elf, head elf, Mr. Universe himself.
Okay.
But yeah, Tim Allen, I feel like half of the population absolutely love him, and then everybody else hates him.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. My mum watches that show that he's in, Last Man Down. It's like I think he creates it or writes it.
I thought it got cancelled.
Is it been cancelled? I mean, it should be, because it's not very good. And
I thought it was cancelled like years ago.
I watched like a bit of it, and I was like, what? I was like, I'm not totally on board with this. I was like, this is almost just like, just sexism on a plate. But
pretty much.
Anyway,
everything's got an audience, and we can't judge others.
I mean, it's not Home Improvement. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that was a show.
That was a
I did like that.
show. Yeah. Should we do? Umbrella Academy without spoiling, because you've not watched it. I don't know what episode I'm up to, but it feels like we've gone quite a way in, and I'm enjoying it. But yeah, there is a lot. There is a lot of not necessarily good CGI, and I'm not entirely sure where we're going or what it's doing. I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, am I enjoying it? Yeah.
with as minimal spoilers as possible, can you answer one question for me?
Yes.
Have they found yet another contrived way to split the Umbrella Academy up so there's like 4 different plots going on at once before they inevitably all come back together to conclude the story in the last 2 episodes?
I was going to say, because I've moaned about it with Stranger Things, and I've moaned about it with, like, loads of other shows, that they just split all the characters up, and they all do their own thing, and it's like, if they only just communicated with each other, none of this would be a problem. Now, I would say that this series of Umbrella Academy definitely starts that way. It's kind of like, oh, they're all just running, oh, great, no one's talking, oh, fantastic. It's not as bad, it gets better. But then even once the majority of them are together, there's still like bits off to the side because it's never like complete. But again, I'm not at the end. I feel like I'm very close to the end, but I haven't actually looked at how many episodes there are or what one I'm on. I've just kind of been watching. But yeah, I mean it's all right.
I will probably start watching that probably tonight, because last night I finished watching quite possibly the worst TV show ever made. Well, no, the worst TV show I've ever watched all of. We can't say anything's the worst TV show in the world in a world where Love Island exists.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was this show called Glitch. It's an Australian show. Do you remember a few years back a really great French drama called La Revenante?
No.
Basically, it was little sleepy French mountain town. And then for no apparent fucking reason, 5 people that were dead come back to life and just wander back into town as if nothing had... And they're like, what's going on? Why is everyone being so crazy? Because you've been dead for 5 years. Like, one of the people that died is this girl, and she's an identical twin. And she goes home and like, why the hell is my sister suddenly 5 years older than me? Really, really great. It never actually ended, which it kind of sucks. But there was 2 seasons, and they were great seasons. It then got remade as an American series called, I think, The Leftovers, which we may have mentioned already. But it was essentially the same story, just made in America because Americans can't handle subtitles, apparently. And then, unbeknownst to anyone, we now have Glitch, which is basically the exact same story, but transposed to a sleepy little Australian mountain town. Except all the characters are awful, the script is terrible, and they explain away what's happening by just saying sound and God. And nothing makes fucking sense. And then at the end of the 2nd season, they kill off half the returned, introduce new ones for the 3rd season. They do fuck all for the whole season, and then everyone dies.
Sounds like a great TV show. I don't know what you're complaining about.
I'm complaining that I wasted roughly 18 hours of my life watching 3 seasons of this.
Do you not get to like the 2nd episode and think, I should just give up? You just keep watching, hopefully, like, it's going to get better. Something's going to happen.
Yes. Basically, the thing, it was intriguing enough that I wanted to know what the explanation was. And then when the explanation finally arrived, it was dumb and made no sense. And I want to call my mum, who lives in Australia, and be like, Mum, talk to your Prime Minister and tell him to fix his shit, because that series was just dumb.
Rob said, is that the show with the lake? I don't know. That's enough. Is there a lake? I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. I've not seen it. I don't know, Rob. There's probably lakes in lots of shows. Are you watching that Cuckoo?
You might be thinking I've seen an Aussie show. Oh, was that Kiwi? I think it was a Kiwi show where a lake was prominently featured, but it was about what would happen if all the Norse gods were reincarnated in modern day New Zealand. It was called The Almighty Johnsons, and it was fucking hilarious. But again, the last season was a little bit silly.
Yeah, I don't know what show Rob's talking about. The one with the lake, with the dead people coming back. Walter played.
No, they funnily enough, as most dead people tend to do, they come out of the graveyard.
He's saying Walter played a part somehow. I don't know, Rob. I don't know what you're talking about. Google it.
Yeah,
and let us know.
Sorry, me either.
Yeah, have you watched there's that new British show, Cuckoo something?
Oh, the Midwich Cuckoos.
That's the one.
I haven't, but I'm seeing. I absolutely shat myself the other day because I was just walking along the street trying, to not shit myself. And the bus drove past me, and there were some kids on it, which like on the poster, which already I hate kids, so I was like on the back foot. And then I looked away for a second, looked back, and they'd moved. And I shat myself in the middle of the street. And it turns out it was a freaking hologram poster.
Oh.
And the kids, as the bus moves, the kids' eyes freaking turn and follow you. And no, none of that. But again, you know, to be fair, did make me want to see the show.
Yeah, I watched the start of the first. I watched probably about halfway through the first episode at Sean's mum and dad's, and then I had to go home to go to bed. So I was like, I will. But it was quite interesting, and I was like, yeah, no, I could. This is something I could be there for. So
it's on Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got Now TV, so yeah, on the Sky. Yeah, I mean, it looked interesting. Looked good enough. And to be fair, I don't enjoy most like. I don't think I've enjoyed like a British drama since watching like. What's the one with Robson Green? Is that The Wire?
Soldier.
It's like a detective thing. Is it The Wire, or is that something different?
That's the American one.
Oh, it's something.
I don't know.
It's something like. Anyway, there's that was good. Did you watch the Jekyll and Hyde thing with
Nope.
Oh, they Irish guy. Now I've forgotten his name.
Yeah, I know the show. I know the show you're
From
talking
Cold
about, but
Feet.
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Why
He was
is
in
his
a
name?
really great show. He was in a really great show on Sky called Lucky Guy. That was based on a book by Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name though.
Yeah, his name's blanked in my head as well, but I really like him. And yeah,
Come
he
on,
did
chat, you're slacking.
years ago. He did the BBC adaptation of Jekyll and Hyde, but it was just called Hyde, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was called Jekyll. It was called one of them. It was just like one name, but it was really like well done because it was like modern and yeah, really really well put together. Oh, Rob said because he's googled it that the TV show he's talking about is called The Returned.
Ah. Okay, that's an equally terrible name. Is that American, French, or Australian? Some homework for you there, Rob.
He's on it. He's like sitting.
Sweet. But yeah, speaking of that, that actually reminded me of a fun question I posed to my friend the other day. So I'd recently finished watching Alice in Borderlands on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, strongly recommend. It's kind of like sort of battle royale, but Alice in Wonderland. Like three Japanese sort of deadbeat teenagers. One day, everyone in Tokyo disappears, and they have to like play horrible games to try and survive. Because if not, a laser from the sky just shoots them dead. Really good series, but really good series. But I was watching that, and then I was watching one of my all-time favorite TV shows of the last probably decade, Into the Badlands, which is Journey to the West, aka Monkey, aka Dragon Ball Z, but steampunk, which makes everything better. And that got me thinking, if you could take one classic story like Alice in Wonderland or Journey to the West and give it like a modern day sci-fi twist, what would you pick and what would your twist be?
Just the first thing to pop in my head was Wizard of Oz. Because steampunky. But yeah, I don't know.
We all remember how terrifying the Wheelers were in Return to Oz.
Return to Oz is one of my favourite all-time films.
Absolute classic.
It's so good. I mean, it is very steampunky. The Wheelers, TikTok, it's it's up there. Yeah.
It just proves everything's better when you add steampunk.
Yeah.
I'd really love to see some steampunk takes on basically any Shakespeare play. Like, imagine Midsummer Night's Dream, but instead of being like all the potions and forests and magic and whatnot, it was just like cyberpunk as fuck, and it was all an MMO.
Take out all the magic, replace it with cyberpunk tech.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what cyberpunk is. It's just fantasy, but you replace all the magic with internet.
Yeah.
And that's why it's amazing.
Yeah, I guess, I'm probably just, for now, stick with Wizard of Oz. But yeah, like
Midsummer Night's Dreamscape.
Less witches and more cool steampunky villains, yeah.
That would absolutely work. I would watch that.
Yeah. I watched, Zoe Deschanel was in a Wizard of Oz thing years back called Tin Man.
Oh.
It was quite good.
Okay.
It wasn't like amazing, but like for a fresh-ish Wizard of Oz type TV show.
Was it better than the new take on Snow White with Kristen Stewart?
Oh yeah, no, like this show was actually worth watching, and you know, a bit of a predictable kind of ending, but it was good. Yeah.
Or the gritty reboots of Wizard of Oz, Emerald City. That should have been called Emerald Shitty.
Emerald.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio was the wizard, and I'm blanking on her name, which is bad because I love her, but I can't remember her name. She's just been in Morbius, which we can't hold against her. She was in Good Omens.
Emerald
she played
City.
the witch in Good Omens, and yeah, she was the only good thing about that show. It was just awful.
Ah. Yeah, I've not
Adria Arjona.
Adria Arjona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not even didn't know this existed. I like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. He's woefully underused in that. Great seeing him again in Hawkeye. He was fucking savage. It was so good.
Oh yeah.
I think like about entirely too short of a time after that episode aired, he put a pretty awesome picture on. It was the same. It was the Hawkeye sort of poster, like the sort of the background image, but just in the background you could just see Kingpin's silhouette over the city. So good.
So good. I like how he's like a big dude, and then they like put him in like the oversized like shirt and whatever, and you think that would make him look smaller, but it makes him look bigger. Because usually, like, you put yourself in an oversized jacket and it's gonna like make you look shrink, but like, yeah, no, he's just like, whoa, big dude.
Absolute fucking unit.
I mean, he's just scary. He's got this scary, like, I love him. He's great, and like from watching like Law and Order, where he's playing like the good guy, and he's always, you know, you're always with him. But from Full Metal Jacket, obviously, that just sticks in you. He's just so good, and it's just like really that sticks with you, like whenever you see him, you know. But yeah.
Men in Black.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
I couldn't even tell that was him. Yeah.
Good.
He's a great actor.
Great actor.
I've got to tell you, I am very worried about the new season of Daredevil.
Because it's going to be Disney-fied.
Exactly. I mean, after promising us kind of Moon Knight, Punisher levels of kind of darkness and violence in Moon Knight, and then we got Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm very worried to see what they're going to do with.
Yeah, Rob's worried about Deadpool.
I would be worried about Deadpool, except apparently I think it's some sisters doing the writing, and they're the same sisters that do Bob's Burgers, and I fucking love Bob's. It's Lizzie and Wendy Molyneux, and I fucking love Bob's Burgers, and they kill it on that. So it may not be quite as crude, but it should still be properly funny.
Rob's taken Ryan Reynolds' word that he said it won't be Disney-fied.
I mean, isn't he like
producer?
EP? So,
yeah.
Yeah, he would know. And also, I'm realizing now we've been here for a good sort of 90 minutes, and we haven't actually answered the question that we were asked about 30 seconds into the stream.
Yeah, I was going to say for the last 30 minutes we'll probably cover some anime chat but I'm not sure if Matija is still here, but they have followed me, so thank you if you are here. But I think it might.
If you aren't, we're very sorry for completely forgetting about your question. But we'll answer it now, and hopefully someone that's still here can tell you.
Do you know your favourite anime off the top of your head?
I have two.
Okay.
For very different reasons. If we're just talking shows I can sit down and watch because they're great, Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
That was a mouthful.
Worst name, best show. Brilliant. Imagine The Redemption of Dr. Faustus.
Right.
But instead of being about a sort of crotchety old German doctor that makes a deal with the devil, it's about a schoolgirl that makes a deal with an absolute fucking arsehole cat. That's Madoka.
Right.
It takes all the usual tropes of the kind of your magical schoolgirl anime and just fucking flips them. It's super grim. The animation style starts off like you'll be like, "Can I have some bleach for my eyes?" But weirdly, by about episode 5 or 6, you were like, no, it's actually really good. I quite like it. And then the ending, you just, so good. And then the second one, while it has a lot of issues, I just can't suppress my love for Bleach. Like, I love it. It's one of the first series I properly got into. And honestly, like, all the good things happening in my life right now can be directly traced back to Bleach. Like, 90% of the people I talk to on a daily basis are friends I've made through, like, Bleach fan groups and Bleach websites. I'm currently a copywriter because I first kind of cut my teeth on editorial writing, doing Bleach reviews per chapter and per episode to start with, and per chapter when the anime ran out. Like, yeah, it was a very, very formative series for me, even though, objectively speaking, it has a lot of issues.
Yeah, Rob's main issue is like when he got so far and they're like, oh, he's like all powerful now, so we're gonna take all his powers away to kind of give us a from scratch kind of thing. I've only watched.
A lot of people say that last episode, where like, the team it's literally called Sayonara Rukia. Like, a lot of people say that should have been the ending, and I can't help but agree.
Yeah, I've only watched like a first handful of episodes of Bleach, but it's one that's like, oh, that seems fairly interesting, but like doesn't like grab me. And again, that was back when I kind of wasn't watching a mass amount of anime. Same as like Naruto, I watched like a handful of episodes, but was kind of like, and I think it's because everybody as well around me, like at college, had just kind of discovered that anime existed, and they were all big into Naruto. But coming from growing up watching Dragon Ball Z, and like I'd seen shows like, I'm gonna mention Trigun, and I'll come back to that in a second. Like with my brother, I watched Naruto and was like, this is kind of like more kid aimed, and it's not. It's just not like, it didn't grab me.
Apparently it gets better, but I've never been able to tough it out long enough to find out.
Yeah, I mean, my brother said once you make it past the initial, however long it is, with the catchphrases and everything's over the top, blah blah blah. There are like, I've dropped back in and watched a lot of the big fights and stuff, like, but I didn't really know what's going on. Yeah, favourites for me, I guess, like I say, Dragon Ball Z was like the first one I ever watched on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, so that's like, you know, special place in my heart, and I still watch like Super now, and I love it all, it's great, Vegeta's the best. And, but yeah, Trigun is like a really good, nice, short, concise thing. My brother, I think, had watched it online, and then he bought it off of eBay, which I think was like 100% like a fake that someone had put together a box set.
I've got a fun story about that.
And but yeah, watch that, and it's great. I rewatched that. Was that last year or was it before lockdown? Doesn't feel like that long ago, but I rewatched it, and then I just saw online last week that they're making a new Bash. Is it called? It's gonna be called the Stampede, or I can't remember. So I was like, yay, more Trigun.
I remember years back, a friend of mine bought. Do you remember the original Hellsing, not Ultimate, the 12 episode slightly rubbish one?
Yes.
A friend of mine bought a copy of like the complete series of Hellsing off of eBay, and we got it. And we were so excited. We sat down, we put the first disc in, which was just a plain white disc. Should have been our first warning. Put it in. Episode starts playing. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen. This is a fan rip. If you've paid for this, you've been ripped off. Aww.
Yeah, I feel we had Trigun is it's just all YouTube videos basically that someone's collected, but the case that they put it in is really nice. The way that it opens it's lovely. It's definitely fake, but it's great, and it was like the only thing you could get. And
it's a high quality fake. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm almost certain as well that we have a fake copy of Advent Children that my brother bought. We have the proper one now as well, but I'm sure that that's also totally fake, because I think it was only available in like Japan, so people in England were making like fake copies of it. But again, they did a good job of it. I think the cover and everything looks great. But yeah, we have that, and I think that's the only dodgy things that we own. Because again, yeah, it was like the only way you could get it. But we definitely have Advent Children on proper Blu-ray now, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because you had to.
I think I have it on DVD. I haven't got it on. I should get it on Blu-ray because it doesn't upscale quite as well as you'd think it would.
Yeah. Do you know what I did? Dragon Ball Super Broly movie came out. We saw it at cinema. Amazing. I bought the DVD I bought the Blu-ray, not knowing that the Blu-ray it comes with 2 discs. It's like a DVD and a Blu-ray, and I assumed that when you open the case, the one you see first is going to be the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So we watched the film, and I was watching it, and the whole way through, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look as good as I thought it was going to look. But we watched the whole film, yeah, and then got to the end, and when I put it back away, I was like, oh, it was the DVD. No. I was like, so next time we watch it, I'll make sure to put the high quality. I couldn't be bothered to get up again. We was already watching the movie.
You know what you're going to do now, don't you? You're going to swap them round so the Blu-ray's in the right spot.
And then
you're going to go to watch it, and you're going to be, oh, wait, it's not that one, it's this one. You're going to watch the fucking DVD again.
Oh, no.
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah, it happened. Because that movie looks so great, and that ruined our experience at home. We'd already seen it in the cinema, but...
Sad times.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing, I have to put this out there, because we've mentioned 2 of them.
Okay.
Fucking One Piece, man. Are you up to date with One Piece?
No.
Oh.
Rob is. I watched like 30 episodes maybe years ago when I was in college. At some point, maybe I would dedicate a portion of my life to make sure I get through One Piece, but
I haven't started the anime yet because it's just too much. But I'm up to date with the manga.
Okay.
And the last arc has been fucking next level, man. Like it's been so good.
How's the manga in terms of like how fast it moves? Because One Piece is another one of those ones where I feel like I'm watching it and nothing's progressing as quick as I want it to. So if the manga's like faster moving, maybe it would be better for me to read it.
I mean, I will say there have been points where it's dragged a bit. Like this big arc, they're fighting this big guy, and like it's been going on for about 200 chapters. And like, but just a constant battle. There's this big sort of castle thing, and there's about 4 or 5 separate fights going on with various different people. And there are a couple of chapters where it's just like a little bit of this fight, a little bit of that fight, a little bit of that fight, and you're watching it and you're like reading it, and you're like, I probably should have waited 2 or 3 weeks and then just binged that whole chapter, that whole section in one go. But the thing, like, Oda is, in my opinion, when it comes to manga, he is the master of the long game.
Right.
Like, some of the build-up chapters may be a little weak, but the payoff is always worth it. And in this case, the payoff, 110% worth it. Like, motherfucker broke Twitter for about 3 weeks. Like, he was everywhere. Like, the conclusion of the big fight was just, like, beyond epic. It was so goddamn good. And I almost want to watch and just skip to this arc just so I can watch this last fight animated, because it's going to look so goddamn good. And there's another film coming out about my boy Shanks, who's my favorite character. Yeah. I'm quite excited to see about that, because I have a big theory about how he's the actual kind of final boss of the series.
Oh, really?
And the last, yeah. Because the thing is, Blackbeard is like, it's, you know, the final boss. He's the one that Luffy's going to have to defeat to like win the series. But then they're going to get to like when it goes to actually kind of claim the One Piece, Shanks is going to be in his way, and he's going to have to defeat him. And it's not going to be as kind of big and flashy as some of the previous fights, but it's going to be a proper like gut wrenching emotional battle. And I really want it to happen, because you know Oda's going to fucking make it work. But at the same time, I really don't want it to happen, because I don't want my boy Shanks to get hurt, because I love him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tricky. But it's going to be so good. It's going to be worth it.
I was just thinking about when you read stuff chapter by chapter, and you lose momentum. but that you're keeping up with it, but it has no impact because you're reading like such small snippets.
Yeah.
To Your Eternity has quite short chapters weekly, so I feel like I read it and you don't get enough chance to get into it whilst you're reading that chapter. And then I'm like, wait, what's happened? Because then you feel like very disjointed. But that's kind of like come to the end of an arc. What else? My Hero is obviously kind of like getting there now. We're getting there. And
I had a very similar issue with Dr. Stone. Like, the chapters were always so weird and convoluted. Reading them once a week, you just completely lose the thread. And the ending was kind of disappointing. But, yeah, that's sad. Decent series overall.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Super's, again, still doing great. I'm enjoying it. One
monthly release schedule, man.
One very long chapter a month, yeah. It's good. And I went back and I've read it all now.
Wow.
Yeah, the two arcs before... There's not two arcs. The one arc before this one was great. And then this one's doing great. It's getting a lot of hate on the internet because... That's
what the internet's for.
Yeah, that's what the internet's for. Basically, like, people... Obviously, there's, like, mass Vegeta fans. And Vegeta usually gets beat down. And then Goku comes in and saves the day. And it's like, yeah, but that's kind of just what happens. And that's his thing. But, like, I feel like in this last arc, it's more of a... He's there. He doesn't get super beat down. He plays the part in weakening the enemy and helping Goku defeat them. They're a team. That's, as much as he doesn't want to admit they're a team, They're best friends.
Clearly.
And, he's there. He knows that... Look, guys, we know Vegeta's, like, a badass, but he knows Goku's stronger. And, and he's going to let him have the win so that, he doesn't lose the Earth and his family or whatever. But people still just think that he's getting the raw end of the deal. And I'm like, he's doing all right. I'm quite happy. As a very big Vegeta fan, I'm happy. I feel like others should be happy too. But
I think they need to put obsessive Vegeta fans on an island with the obsessive Bakugo fans and the obsessive Zoro fans, and just let them all fight to the death. Because the people that obsess about, like, the secondary lead and, like, oh, why is the secondary lead not getting as much support as the lead? Because they're the secondary leads.
This is what I said to my brother.
It's not a fucking... There's no such thing as a goddamn deuteragonist.
I said...
It doesn't happen. It does, but not in these cases.
I was like, people are upset with the whole Vegeta thing, but I'm like, at least he's there and he's playing a part and he's letting Goku win. Like, Goku wouldn't win if he wasn't there. But Goku's gonna finish the fight because he's the main character. This is literally what I said yesterday to Robert. I was like, because he is the main character of the series, and I know that a lot of series go on, and you, like with My Hero Academia, I'm kind of like, oh, there's a lot of characters, and we love them all, and they're all great, but Deku is the main character. To be fair though, I think like in the popularity polls, Bakugo and Todoroki are like always higher up.
I can't actually remember what the results for the last poll
I think
were.
each one is different.
Yeah.
But they do get a lot of love, like all the other characters. Like, when you get the top 10s, you get some real, like, crazy ones in there. Where you're like, oh, they made it up there, did they? That's interesting.
My boy Todoroki now does very well. No, not Todoroki, fucking Kirishima.
Oh, yeah, everyone loves him. I think...
He needs more time to shine.
He needs more time to shine. Like the rock that he is. He'll become a diamond one day. He'll become so hard.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was his kind of final power.
Evolution,
just turning into diamonds. Yeah. That would be that would have a lot of issues though.
He'd be
you could just make him kind of like a sort of like a... No, he wouldn't be completely see-through. He'd just be like kind of frosted rock, so to speak.
Frosted Rock. That could be his new name. Red Riot becomes Frosted Rock.
No, that's terrible. That sounds like a breakfast cereal.
It does.
But just I've got to state for the record, we discussed all three of them. I see some people like, oh yeah, like, what's this generation's big three? Like what, like the big, oh, like does this whatever series deserve to be in the big three? Like people put in like Black Clover and DBZ out there. I'm sorry, no, stop it right now. There has always only ever been one big three, and that's Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. This is not some title that was arbitrarily picked. When those three were at their peak, they fucking dominated the whole media. Like, no series was like, there were series that came close. You know, Black Clover was doing well. Fairy Tail, despite everyone taking the piss out of it all the time, did some fucking numbers. Is still doing numbers. But nothing. There's a reason those three are called the big three. You can't. It's not up for debate. The debate's over. The sales spoke for themselves. Stop it.
Just stop it, okay?
Yeah, it annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me so much, but it does.
It really gets you.
Yeah.
And I've pulled you onto the Jujutsu Kaisen hype train.
Yes, I'm on chapter 80 something. It's a very, very dangerous train full of monsters just arrived and has spilled out everywhere. And we're meant to believe that bad things are happening. But then Gojo's there.
Manga spoilers.
Oh yeah, fuck, sorry, yeah. I mean, everything is safe and everything is fine. The story ends, yeah. Sorry. Huge apologies there. I keep forgetting the anime thing.
I put a warning up on the screen. JJK, manga spoilers. Yeah, I mean, this isn't talking right up to date. We're in the Shibuya? Do I say it Shibuya? Or like Shibuya? Shibuya? Just say it like that. Yeah. I didn't realise that's where the big crossing is. In Japan, yeah. I was like, oh. Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is really like right in the middle of just civilization. Right? We're right here. It's all happening. Yes. But you're like, say that again, Gojo's here.
Yeah, he's fighting in a train station, and he was kicking the crap out of Hanami and Volcano Head, and
who's called Jogo, just to confuse you. Yeah, because you got Gojo.
Yeah, he's kicking out of Hanami and Jogo, and body morpher guy whose name I've temporarily forgotten has just shown up. Not Gatoge, the other one. What's he called? The
body
guy that
morpher, as in Patchwork Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patchwork Boy is good enough.
Yeah. Stitches. Bitches get stitches.
Bitches get stitches.
He's shown up and he's just fucking everything up. And like I literally, the last chapter I read, Gojo was like, fuck you, brah, and just like ruined everything. And then as he was like, ultimate victory, and then he looks down and just sees this little thing on the floor, and your man's like, time to activate my trap card. So you know shit's about to get sideways.
Oh, shit's about to go sideways.
Yeah, but yeah, great series. I have, as you can probably already tell from this, I have not learned anyone's names. I just call them by what their kind of biggest trait is. Except for Useless Miwa, who will always be Useless Miwa.
Oh, hello, Useless. It's funny in the anime, because she's like, Useless Miwa here. It's like...
Awesome. Yeah, like, I like Hammer Girl. I like Panda. And obviously, the main guy's good.
Yeah, like I say, it's like... Yeah, the anime's great. Like, because I watched the anime, then went to see the movie, then started reading the manga. So it's like confusing because you're like, you start with Yuji and the kids, and then you go back to the like prequel, but the manga just started with Zero, and it had like an original name of like the sorcerer's school in Japan, blah blah blah, and then they called it Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's like, yeah, that's better. And way more sense. But I can understand, because the story goes from that prequel into like where we are now, that it's like a stronger start for the anime to be with this set of kids, where it's gonna like carry on. And then so reading the manga from where the anime picks up is straight into the young Gojo, like back with with Geto, however we want to say these people's names. And I
apologise to the nation of Japan, because I'm going to get every name wrong. I'm sorry.
But it is tricky when you're just reading something and you say it how
True.
you say it in your head, and then you hear somebody else say it and you're like, oh man, have I been saying that wrong the entire time? I'm so...
Yeah, bit of a sidetrack, but you'll see why I get there. I'm currently listening to the audiobooks of one of my all-time favourite fantasy series, the Malazan Book of the Fallen. And it's brilliant, but the one thing I'm realising is that I got literally every name wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally everyone. And it's quite sad. But that's the one reason why it's good to both read and audiobook, because you get to understand how everything's meant to be said.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being a kid and picking up Harry Potter and being like, Hermione. Because I'm like 10 and I've never heard the name Hermione. And then I remember saying it to someone and they were like, it's Hermione, idiot. Or like my older sister was like, it's Hermione. And I'm like, what? Why? It's spelled Hermione. And how would I ever know to not say it like that?
Apparently, Rowling put the whole arc with her and Crumb in just to give her an excuse to explain how the name's pronounced. Which I quite like.
No, Jack. Like, you ever met someone called Hermione?
Apparently, I had an aunt or something called Hermione, because that mum straight away knew how to pronounce it. But yeah, I got it very wrong for the first 2 or 3 books.
Because I watched Buffy, I knew the name Xander. Yeah. And then I had a friend in college who was reading a book and there was a character and she was saying, oh, the character in this book's really cool. He's awesome. His name's Exan. And I was like, Exan? Thinking it must be spelled E-X-A-N, right? Or whatever. And then I looked at it and was like, oh, it's Z-A-N. I was like, oh, he's probably just called Zan. Like Xander. And she's like... And then she had that moment of... Oh, because she's been saying Exan. But like if you're just reading it, like you can have an educated guess, but like especially with the English language, you can never predict like what's actually, because there's all these rules, but they all have exceptions, and and so shut up, Jack. Start calling you Jackuk, because.
It's just yet another reason why everyone needs to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, just to know how to say the name Xander.
Yeah.
Xander. Because then you get...
Okay.
It's so good. And yeah, the artwork in the manga is great. The anime is great. Yeah. So whether you're going to watch the anime or pick up the manga, they're both good options for you. But yeah.
Pacing is spot on as well.
It's so like... just pulls you along with it, and it's just like
insistent.
Yeah, it's so good. There's no filler, or if there is a little bit of filler, it's just like the perfect amount and a little bit of conversation here we've got, and then we're moving on. But it's been non-stop from like the start of the Shibuya Act into the next arc. It will be like non-stop. It's almost like, have we gone into a new arc?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's so good.
Yeah, I'm currently reading Demon Slayer for my comic reviews.
Right.
Oh, the pacing in that series is atrocious. So goddamn bad. It's like they'll just spend whole chapters doing bugger all, and then like there'll be a really great kind of bit of lore, and it'll just be like 2 panels, and then 5 more pages of fuck all. It's like plot your chapters, please.
Yeah, I can't do too much with nothing. I'm like, I want the story to move. I want. Yeah, like some questionable stuff is fine if I'm gonna definitely get to it soon. But if you just keep dragging me out, I'm just gonna lose interest. Because.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I said before, God of High School, very well paced, just like goes. And I watched it with Sean, and he was like, "Well, it's just lots of fights, though, isn't it?" But it didn't have his interest because it's just people fighting. I'm like, no, like all the characters have really good backstory, and they wedge it in there and they tell you it, but without you losing interest. And you're discovering, because you're launched into this show, you don't understand why any of these people have powers. Can people see what they're doing? Can they see those big moves that they're doing, or is this just like Yu-Gi-Oh with some artistic effect happening every time they lay a card down? And it's like but like I don't know. It's just really good, and Yeah, I love it. So the second season, that's gonna be like, yeah, let's get some answers and like what's going on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know when we're getting the second season of that, but
Where's that showing?
Got a High School.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
Where is that? That's on Crunchyroll, yeah.
Oh, it's on Crunchyroll. Yeah, but it
I think it got cancelled.
came out like 2 years ago. Yeah, so yeah, is it
Yeah,
actually been
I think it's been
cancelled?
cancelled.
See,
I think so. Yeah.
probably because people were saying that it's not good and it's just fights, even though it's amazing. Like the animation was great, everything's great.
It's getting cutthroat these days. If you don't have instants, like everyone, if you don't trend straight away, it just gets fucking cancelled. So I'm quite glad that even though it's been fucking years, we are getting Vinland Saga season 2. It's going to drop this year, and it's going to absolutely dominate the world. What a show! It's like Vikings, but they don't just fucking trail off halfway through and then limp to the barn with the last season. It's going to be so badass.
So badass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll round up and I'm gonna say that yeah, the My Hero manga is doing great. I'm enjoying it. It's happening. The shit is happening. And
needs more Kirishima, but yeah.
It does. And then yeah, Spy Family. I still have not figured out what day it comes out on. I need to actually make a point of knowing and watching it when it comes out. But I think.
Does it not say on the app?
I think 11. Yeah, it probably does. I just haven't actually looked.
Fair enough.
Who's got the time? No. I think my brother said that I've watched 11 and there's the 12th one and then that's it. And I was like, no, that must be the half series point because nothing's happened yet. Like in the story, like nothing's happened yet. Like where we've met all the characters and we know what their aim is and their goal and they're going to be doing whatever and we've had some funny. But like the next, yeah, so Rob's just said that part 2's coming in October. So the next half of the season is going to be all the stuff. Like actually story progression
where the show actually begins.
Yeah, where actually the show happens. Yeah, because I mean so far it has been mostly, I mean it's established the story and the characters and then it's kind of been like 4 episodes of funny really, just random funny. It's quite good. I like it.
After reading 700 chapters of Gintama, I'm okay with random funny.
Yeah, random funny's like totally fine. I read chapter 1 of Mashal.
Oh,
I will continue to read it.
You should because they literally just announced, I think today, it is getting an anime.
Oh, there you go.
So everyone, you need to start reading Mashal because it's hilarious. Mashal is what would happen if Asta from Black Clover had a baby with Sakata Gintoki from Gintama, and that kid went to Hogwarts from Hogwarts. It is the dumbest show, and it should not work, but it's just fantastic. It's like, yeah, it's so stupid, but hilarious. And I'm reading the last arc right now, and like, it's clear the writer just has absolutely stopped giving a fuck. Because it's just gone completely insane, and it's so funny, but like weirdly dark, and just completely unhinged. And I cannot wait to see this animated because you just know the way kind of the things play out, it's gonna look amazing.
Yeah, I said, I mean, I enjoyed the first chapter of Mashal. It was funny, and I was like, yeah, I could go for this. So yeah, I will continue to read it now that I've caught up with Dragon Ball Super.
Are you reading Sakamoto Days?
No.
You need to start reading Sakamoto Days.
Tell me about this.
Sakamoto Days is brilliant. Basically, Taro Sakamoto is the main character. Back in day, he was like the most like highly skilled, highly respected, highly feared assassin of all time. Like he was like, think John Wick, but if he wasn't Keanu Reeves. That's how badass this guy is.
Right.
And then he got married and had a kid, and now he's really fat and runs a convenience store. But people still know that he's the world's greatest assassin, so they're still trying to kill him. And he has kind of to try and defend himself. But it's funny. It has some of the best action art I've ever seen. And like the story, like the lore and the world building is just really good. Like they introduce new characters and like they build whole little worlds around. Like it's really, really well done.
Is it on Viz?
Oh yeah, it's on Shonen Jump.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It's all there, and so yeah, I mean, it's pay a quid to subscribe because
Oh,
why the fuck not?
Sakamoto Days. Okay, got it.
That's the one.
I've hearted it so that it's on my favourites.
Good. It is well worth the heart.
Yeah, what have I got at the minute? Yeah, Dragon Ball Super, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, Vigilante is finished. I think Rob's just started reading One Punch Man.
Because the last chapter was crazy.
We're like waiting so long for the next series. Yeah. I'm kind of does One Punch. You've read One Punch Man up to date?
Oh yes, I'm fully up to date.
Does the season 2 follow the manga? Because I feel like people weren't happy with season 2.
I'm not sure I've actually seen season 2.
Oh, okay. So yeah, see, I'm not sure because people seem to not be happy with it, but I don't know if it's because it doesn't follow the manga or just because it wasn't animated very well.
I have heard complaints about the animation quality, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I might read that because I'm getting to the point, like with Dragon Maid as well, Robert. I think that I might start reading it because it takes so long between seasons because they're busy and they put a lot of effort into their animation. That I'm kind of like, I think I need to read it now because I'm just getting sick of waiting.
This is the natural evolution. You find a really great anime, start watching it, you fall in love with it, wait 3 fucking years for the sequel, think, sod it, I'll just read the manga, and then you read all of that, and then it ends, and then you cry, and the anime comes back, and it's like, yay, it's back, but then it's terrible, so you just stop to read the manga again.
Just read the manga again. Yeah, I mean, we've got Mashal, yeah, there. Yeah, One Punch Man. What else is Dragon Maid. I don't know if there's much else that I'd probably read.
Started reading a good series called Earthchild. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's like I think it's a sort of romantic seinen series, but it's really well written. But like, guy meets this girl and he's like, "Wow, you're really hot." Turns out she's a superhero, and she keeps trying to blank his memory because he's not meant to know she exists. But he keeps like still somehow managing to find her again. And so they hook up, and then I won't go into too much detail, obviously, because read it for yourself. But events transpire, and it's a solid series.
Solid series. Cool. Right. Well, I guess next time we speak, we can do spoilerific Umbrella Academy, if that's on your watch list.
It is. I'll probably start watching it tonight.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll probably finish watching. Well, again, I've not looked at. I'm gonna do it right now. Oh, we're looking at
updates, people.
Live update. How many episodes are there in
right
Umbrella
here.
Academy? Netflix. That's fine.
I'm going to assume 10 because there's always 10. I'm pretty sure there's 10 of the last 2.
10. Umbrella Academy. Episodes and info.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of season 3 yet, but I already know who my new favorite character is from the new team, and it's the really, really fit one.
The lady?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dark hair or blonde hair?
Dark hair.
Dark
Always
hair.
Dark hair.
Okay, yeah, she's quite cool. But you watch it, just watch it. There's 10 episodes, so I've got 9 and 10 left.
Okay.
So so far, enjoying it. Also kind of like, am I enjoying it? I am enjoying it. It's just so weird. There's so much like eclectic, quirky stuff in a world that's like from I never read the comics, but I remember knowing that J.R. Way was making these comics and being like, oh, I must read those comic books. Like, it was Dark Horse, and I was like, and I just never got round to ever touching it. And so I thought, when it came out, I was like, oh, great, I could just watch it. Amazing. And all I've wanted for the first 2 seasons was all these perfect moments when a My Chemical Romance song would have been just like, oh, killer. There's so many songs, like, talking about the end of the world, and like, do you know what I mean? Season 1, I just, at least one, but I guess he's not got the rights, or, they don't want him to use it because it's like his own project, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't want to kind of feather his own nest, so to speak.
But it was, I love it. And, I have my favourite character is Diego.
Natch.
He's so cute and he's so badass and he's so lovely. He's actually like the most heartfelt of them all, and he's been through so much shit. Amazing. Yeah, like in season 1 he went through the shit because he has his like cop girlfriend who gets killed. If you've not watched any of Umbrella Academy, this is major spoilers, but you know, we're talking about the 3rd season here. So, yeah, you know, loses her, and then obviously the whole thing with his mum, because he was like the closest to his mum, like sorting out his stutter and like helping him and everything. And then it's a fantastic actor as well. Yeah. And season 2, obviously in the insane asylum and all of that with Lila. Just
love Lila.
So good. And yeah, him in this season, great.
Superb.
So yeah, he's my favourite. And then so we'll discuss full season 3 Umbrella Academy,
and hopefully full season 4 of Stranger Things, because by then we would have
Stranger Things, because we would have watched. So if we give it another 2-3 weeks till we discuss,
we haven't done,
and then
we can at least that much,
we can do Umbrella Academy and season 4 part 2 of Stranger Things, but
season 42.
Yeah. Season 42.
Apparently, they have said season 5 will be the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's what I read.
But I'm 90% sure they said that about season 4 as well, so they're probably lying.
I just feel like they need to know when there's, like I say, this seems like it's rounding out to be a really great end, a really great finish. So then I feel like we're all going to go into a season 5 expecting exactly the caliber that we've just got in season 4. And if we don't get it from the start, it's going to feel like, season 2 and 3 again, you know?
Yep.
Like with Heroes. Heroes was really good season 1, kind of like great series. Just great series of television, regardless of what you're into. Season 2 was like good, but cut short because of the writer's strike. Season 3 was like EastEnders with like the drama, the family drama and everything that's happening. I kind of like everyone lost interest in season 3.
They ruined Siler.
But see, they were just like, they like just made a joke out of their greatest character. And I was just like, can you please stop, like, messing around with Siler and just, like, let him be? Like, is he good? Is he bad? Give him a bit of a questionable because he's gone through some hard stuff and whatever. But, like, can we just nail this character, please? Like, and then, but season 4 kind of, like, the cardboard thing was pretty cool. Like, they kind of brought it back. But you can only, you know, go so much before everyone's just going to lose interest. But unfortunately, because it's on Netflix, even if it's really bad, it's really easy for people to just sit and watch it. And a lot of people will still just sit and watch it all.
Yep.
So because they're getting high ratings, they think it's good. Because they're just going on ratings. And that's...
But you have to wonder if they also factor in engagement. Like, say, season 4 has done incredibly well, but it's also been absolutely taking over social media. It's, you know, made $1 million for Kate Bush with that fucking song. Like, if season 5 comes out and it still has decent ratings, but like, you know, Twitter is just an absolute, you know, like not ghost graveyard. Like, there's just nothing about it on social media. You have to hope that would then teach them that actually, no, this is not good.
I'm just opening up in case there's any viewers that have a question before we go.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. But I do... Because I think... do you know how Netflix counts viewers? Because I heard at one point that it does, like, literally after the first, like, 30 seconds, that counts as, like, a whole view.
Yeah, I think if you sit through the credits, that counts.
So it's kind of like, how... That's not a judge at all.
It is not.
Because it takes longer than that to know whether it's bad.
Yeah. That's why we get a lot of shit things being renewed and a lot of great things being cancelled. I've still not forgiven you for the OA, Netflix. I know you're spying on us because you spy on everything because you're evil. Bring back the OA.
Oh, you love the OA.
I freaking love the OA.
Fergit's just said, new Beavis and Butthead movie.
Yeah.
And the auto
I'm
mod...
very worried about that.
The auto mod caught it because it's Butthead. It was like, auto mod, for bullying, question mark. And I was like, what's this about? Oh, because it says butthead. Robert said he's heard that it's fun. But
Good. It's on like, isn't it on like Paramount Plus or something?
I think that is what, Paramount
Yeah,
Plus.
they can fuck off.
Old school silly humour. Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead. That was.
I rewatched Beavis and Butthead Do America about a year ago. I was really worried that it wouldn't have held up. Still, absolutely great animation. Jokes are still hilarious. Music is still on point. Like, it's all good. Aged like a freaking goddess. I don't know. What ages really well? Aged
fine
like
wine.
Something
is the
that
saying.
isn't. Thank you. Aged like
Aged
fine
like a
wine,
fine
and not
wine.
at all like cheese.
Just completely forgotten that very famous phrase.
I've completely forgotten language.
Like aged like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes. That works.
That works. Yeah. Oh man, you're just like, I forgot that Beavis and Butthead existed until you say it, and then I'm like, remember what a big part of our life it was. Is that on MTV? With like, or Channel 4 kind of had all the cool stuff that came from America, like
and
King of the Hill and stuff.
Why is King of the Hill not streamable anywhere? It's so annoying.
I don't know, because that was like one of the greatest things ever made. Yeah, I think it used to be on Channel 4.
Yeah.
But
everything was either on really late on BBC Two or on Channel 4.
Yeah. We used to watch a show called Stressed Eric. I think that was on Channel 4. It's just like a character, and he was like a dad, but he had like this big vein in his head, and he would get like really stressed out, and it would like, ah. And that's all I can remember about it, but I remember it being hilarious.
Fair enough.
Then obviously we used to watch like Late Night Coach the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Network, which is just the most like freakiest weird ass show ever.
Yeah. Have you seen Salad Fingers?
No, I've seen like pictures and stuff. I've not seen it.
It's got a very like, it was clearly the guy who, or the person that created that was very heavily inspired by Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's got that real kind of nothing here is as it seems vibe. Super messed up.
But yeah. Right, cool. I think we'll probably call it a night then, because we've gone for a good, solid, respectable 2 hours and like nearly 20 minutes now. So. Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, I need food.
You need food. I think 2 hours is a nice, good conversation time. Yeah, cool. And Umbrella Academy and Stranger Things next time.
Yes.
But yes, I keep forgetting which computer I'm on, because I'm streaming on this one and then I'm using my MacBook to. So I always I pick up the mouse and then I try to click on my screen, or I use my touchpad on my MacBook to try and control the stream, which I can't because I'm just here chatting.
Don't cross the stream.
Yes, thank you to everyone that's joined us and listened to our. We did go on some tangents at the beginning because I was like, "What were we talking about? What were we actually talking about?" But
remarkably controlled, I think.
Yeah, we've been quite controlled, I think. Yeah. Cool. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.